Fishkill, please rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. Please be seated.
Councilmember Bardini.
Present.
Councilmember Totino.
Present.
Councilmember Foreman.
Here.
Councilmember Rye.
Here.
Supervisor Albrecht.
Here. Becky, you want me to amend the agenda to add this for special consideration?
That's an item for special consideration, but that has to be amended, the finance department, that paragraph.
Okay.
We're just removing that fifth whereas paragraph.
Okay, that's removed? Okay, so I'm going to make it a motion to amend the agenda to add this for the controller for the 2 cooling towers to eliminate 1, 2, 3, 4, the fifth paragraph. Presented as a motion. Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Make a motion to adopt the agenda. Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. No minutes today?
No.
Not today.
Okay.
Taxes.
Next up is, thank you. Next up is privilege of the floor for general town items. This is the opportunity to speak about anything regarding the town of Fishkill. If you come up, just make it quick today, okay? Mr. Cologne?
Good evening, members of the board. As I was here a couple of meetings ago, so today we came in with a final day for Veterans Day, and if you see in front of you, you see the flyer. So today is going to be November 11th, and the ceremony starts at 11 o'clock, followed by the opening of the monument that I call, and to me it's a monument, is the American flag retirement site. As you know, we don't have one in the town of Fishkill, so we're doing this in memory of all the veterans in Fishkill, which means from east, west, north, and south. I don't care where you come from, you're a veteran. And it's donated by McCool's funeral parlor, and the foundation of the flag box on the bottom is done by Carmen Isvin. Okay, and it's sponsored by the Fishkill Rotary. What I'm saying here is I encourage that every veteran that you guys know, please come, including the board. This is a very, very important day, not only to us, but to all the veterans and the residents of our community. I have been working hard on this. It started with an I, only me, but then involved the Rotary, so the I is eliminated. So now it's the we. So as we do a celebration tonight, I pray to God that you all come this day too. It's going to be very interesting. The ribbon cutting is going to be done, and I uncover the flag. The box is going to be covered with an American flag. It's being crocheted. The flag is crocheted, done by the Wappingers Rotary. So when we unveil that, refreshments is going to be served afterward. So again, I encourage all of you, members of the board, and all the members of the audience, please come and join us on this day to honor the veterans. That's the least we could do. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cologne.
Thank you, Eddie.
Thank you, Eddie.
Would anybody else like to speak about a town item? Mr. O'Malley?
He doesn't have his usual front row seat tonight.
Got boxed down.
Yeah, you got boxed out.
A long walk now. Good evening, Supervisor Albert. Good evening, town board members. It's Russell O'Malley, 142 Old Route 9. I would like the town board to truly consider creating a new law or code stating that no business project can remove any trees, shrubs, no grading, no soil removal, no land disturbances at all be allowed until all approvals have been finalized, and that construction must be started within 90 days after said land has been cleared. Far too many project properties remain cleared and fallow for years. Woodland ecosystems are destroyed, plant and animal life gone. Bees and butterflies, mammals, birds, reptiles, and amphibians are killed. Their homes and nests crushed and destroyed. The properties remain fallow and then after time begin to recover. At first grasses, then shrubs, then saplings. All new ecosystems evolve. They soon begin to occupy and utilize, insects and wildlife soon begin to occupy and utilize the recovering property, establishing new homes, new colonies, and new families. But then here we go again. The business comes in and destroys it all. No regard for all of what is to be laid waste. These cleared, fallow construction properties are not just an eyesore to human Fishkill residents, it's death to Fishkill's natural residents. So please consider a law without ifs, ands, or buts, without loopholes, without apologies, without extensions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. O'Malley. Would anybody else like to speak? All right, hearing none, we'll go. Somebody else? The little girl want to speak? What? It's okay. All right. Liaison member reports. Councilwoman Bardini, what do you got?
So yesterday, we had the dedication of the monument, the DAR monument, which reflected, memories of the soldiers who fought in the American Revolution and their repose. It was pretty well attended for 3 o'clock on, in the middle of the week. So I thank everybody for coming, and at some point we'll have a permanent monument there. I also attended the Fall Festival, and I had a really, really great time. If anybody went, I think there were like 500 people there, 550 maybe. But it was awesome, and my favorite part was the costume contest. And, the kids were asked what they were, and I found out I have no idea what's going on in children's lives anymore. But, they still like the same candies we always liked, so that was fun. That's all I have right now.
Thank you, Jackie. Councilman Totino?
Yes, it's been a busy few weeks with autumn in full swing. There's been a lot of autumnal-themed events, and I've had the pleasure of attending a few of them. First off, this past weekend was the Autumn Craft event down at the Van Wyck Homestead by the Fishkill Historical Society. Everyone knows what a great asset that is to our community, but what people don't necessarily know is how much it costs to maintain a site like that. Nearly $40,000 a year. About $37,000 is what it costs to maintain that beautiful historical property that's valued to not only Fishkill but to our nation for its role in the American Revolution. Really cannot be overstated. And a vast majority of those funds have to be privately raised, but every so often they're able to stage these great events like the Craft Festival. I brought my mother along with. I had chili. She saw some art that she really liked, and the Historical Society was able to raise about $3,000 towards their annual needs. If you're not a member of the Historical Society, I highly encourage you to become a member, or to at the very least visit the Van Wyck Homestead Museum on Route 9. And if you are a member, continue to participate, go out to these great events and really celebrate not only Fishkill but our history. Again, the Fall Fest at Gearing Park was a smashing success. It was great to see Jackie and Brian there, as well as former council member Daniele. It was a really wonderful time. I played Connect 4 with my mom on the big things, which probably annoyed some children, but I don't care. I was a kid at heart at that moment. And previous weekend over at Stony Kill Farm was the Harvest Fest, and our Fair Plank Garden Club did a phenomenal job. They were selling all sorts of soups and flower arrangements and baked goods. I didn't have a chance to find out how much money they raised, but I'm sure they did a phenomenal job to advance their organization, which is such great value to our community. So it's been a great couple of weeks, and I won't bore anyone with anything else. Thank you, Greg. Councilman Foreman.
Thank you all for being here tonight. I attended the rec department event at Gearing Park on Saturday, and on the same day, the event at the Fishkill Historical Society. I also attended a budget meeting with the controller, and I attended the memorial service in memory of Charlie Kirk at the Mid-Hudson Civic Center Monday night, and thank you to Will Truitt for putting that on.
Thank you, John. Councilman Rye?
Yes, just as far as my absence from the previous meeting, on the rare time that would ever happen, I was in Orlando welcoming my daughter-in-law, grandchild. I'm getting choked up.
That's okay.
You've got
4 years it took them to get them here from Bogota, Colombia, going through the process.
Now they're here.
So Wait till I get to John Lucarella, it's going to be a mess. So I'm very pleased, Greg, John, and myself proposed and passed the hotel room tax. Just an update on that, it's at the governor's desk, so we're waiting on that signature so we can implement that, and it's going to be very beneficial to the town as we collect that added revenue. It seems as though we had interviews for police chief. Am I wrong about that?
I can't recall.
I think we had one. We might be hiring one tonight, and I'm telling you, we had some astounding candidates, and I am so pumped about the one we are hiring this evening. It's going to be a great experience for the town. And I did also attend the Historical Society Craft Fair. It's a great event. The Fall Fest at Gearing Park. Recreation staff, once again, did a great job. Buildings and Grounds, if I understand, they make sure it happens as well, right, Carmine? The DAR sign that we put up at, which was your initiative, truly, Ozzy, at Continental Commons, was a good commemorative event, there's no doubt about it. And you and I had a good meeting, along with Carmine, with the Renegades, and details on that will be coming towards the end of the year on how that's going to be an event we'll hold there for the 250th.
Awesome.
That's going to be awesome.
Yes, thank you.
It only took a year and a half to make that happen.
Yes, it did. Okay, I'll make it quick. I have nothing. So we'll go on to presentations. Commissioner Bierce, can you just recognize the dignitaries that are here tonight before you move forward?
Good evening, Mr. Supervisor, Councilman, Councilwoman, Madam Clerk. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, first responders, family, friends, distinguished guests. As I stand here tonight, I'm overwhelmed by the courage, heroic, selfless acts of those around me. To be among you is not just an honor, it is a moment I will carry in my heart forever. As a community, we are gathered in spirit of gratitude and recognition. I'd like to introduce a few people here tonight. Representing New York State Assemblyman A.J. Beam's office, Jonathan Link. William Sherwitt, Chairman of the County Legislature. Dutchess County Department Emergency Response Coordinator, William Beal. County Legislator, Chairman of Public Safety, Robert Faust. Robert is a retired police officer from Westchester County PD. He was also, as he began his early career in law enforcement, was a member of the Town of Fishkill Police Department. Robert is a true friend to our first responders here in Dutchess County. Thank you. County Legislator Doug McCool. County Legislator Vet Valdez Smith. Town of Wappinger Supervisor Jonathan Cavassini. Representative Senator Robert Rollison's office, Giselle Garabello. We have tonight Christopher Stratner and his wife Christy and his kids. Chris is going to be appointed tonight as the 6th chief of the Town of Fishkill Police Department. Director of Nursing for Montefiore St. Luke's Cornwall Hospital Emergency Department, John Biacone. Highway Superintendent Carmine Estevan, Roundabout Fire Chief Car 1, Jeff Marino, Car 2, Eric Lamry, Car 4, Chris Mazuka, and Car 5, Charlie Cooner. We have tonight Deputy Commissioner of New York City Corrections, John Ward, Bill Muir, Chairman of the Board of Fire Commissioners, Commissioner Dave Lamry. Our heroic first responders, I don't see the deputy here, Deputy Sheriff Ben Kacha, and our very own Town of Fishkill officer Dennis Kerriman, the incredible paramedic EMTs of Empress, EMS, Ambulance, Dustin Moore, Gladys Plaza Guzman, from Montefiore St. Luke's Cornwall Hospital, representing the emergency department, John Biacone, Director of Nursing Emergency Room, and finally, the Good Samaritan and neighbor, Luigi Minetti. We are here tonight to honor and give thanks to our first responders and heroic actions of the Good Samaritan neighbor, because without the cooperation between all of these first responders, the Assistant Chief would not be here tonight to meet each of you for the first time since he collapsed. He is here tonight to say thank you for everything they did, for helping save his life. He wanted each and every one of you to know that your quick thinking, your courage under pressure, and your unwavering commitment to protecting others made all the difference. Your actions did not change the outcome of the day. They give him the gift of more time with his family, more time to serve this community, and a chance to stand here tonight with a grateful heart. First responders are brave men and women who arrive first at the scene of an emergency, often before anyone else even knows what has happened. They include firefighters, police officers, emergency medical technicians, EMTs, and paramedics. Their role is to stabilize dangerous situations, provide immediate care, and protect both people and property until additional help can arrive. Whether it's a medical emergency, a house fire, car accident, or natural disaster, first responders are trained to act quickly, make critical decisions under pressure, and without hesitation, put themselves in harm's way to safeguard their community. First responders go out on a daily basis without any thought or recognition for what they do. All of our first responders wear many hats, and far too often they do not ask for or do not want to be recognized for what they do. If you were to ask them, they would just say, "It's what we do. We help people." We are here tonight to recognize the honor of our first responders, incredible Good Samaritan, for their actions that made this event nothing short of a miracle. Our friend, co-worker, firefighter, newly husband, faced all odds against him. His life looked extremely grim after he collapsed from a heart attack at a fire scene. I'm talking about Assistant Chief John Lucarella. John has been a proud member of the Roundabout Fire Company for 44 years, including 31 of those years in a chief officer's role. In addition, he's been an employee of the Town of Fishkill Highway Department for 27 years. John returned to work after this life-altering event on September 17th, almost 5 weeks after the event. John, you are a true servant to the public. On August 11th of this year, at about 5:16 a.m. in the morning, the Roundabout Fire Department was dispatched for a house fire on Mountain View Road in the town of Fishkill. The fire was called in by our honorable Good Samaritan neighbor. As the neighbor called 911 and hung up, he ran to the front of the house and rang the Ring doorbell. The homeowner answered the ring, but they were out of the country and no one was home. The Good Samaritan neighbor advised the homeowner that the rear of his house was on fire. He then asked if he had a hose in the rear of the house. The neighbor left the ring, had the homeowner call him on his cell phone as he went to the rear of the house through a gate to the pool area to find the hose. A few minutes later, the Good Samaritan heard a thump behind him. And when he turned around, he saw Assistant Chief Lucarella on the ground having a heart attack. He hung up with the homeowner and called 911 again to report the fireman had collapsed and needed help. Just before the neighbor got off the phone, Dutchess County Deputy Sheriff Ben Giacchio was arriving. He hung up with 911 and ran to the front to meet the deputy, telling him about the firefighter who had collapsed. They both raced to the side of the house, picked up the fireman, and carried him to the front lawn. At this time, our Town of Fishkill police officer, Dennis Karaman, showed up and began assisting the deputy with CPR. A few minutes later, Empress ambulance arrived, took over the medical treatment, and continued CPR. The assistant chief was loaded onto the stretcher into the ambulance with 2 EMTs and paramedics in the rear, continuing CPR and respiratory efforts. Town of Fishkill Police Officer Dennis Cameron jumped into the driver's seat and drove the ambulance to Montefiore St. Luke's Cornwall Hospital Emergency Department. While in the ambulance, John was shocked 5 times, and his prognosis looked very grim. He arrived at the emergency room with CPR in progress, no pulse, no shockable arrhythmia. The medical team in the emergency department worked on John for over an hour, and the code was eventually terminated. John was pronounced dead. Then after about 7 minutes had passed, his heart spontaneously recovered strong. This is known as the Lazarus phenomena. In part, this was truly an absolute miracle. John was stabilized in ICU and later transferred via medevac helicopter, only if John knew he was in a helicopter, to Westchester County Medical Center for emergency cardiac surgery. He underwent heart surgery 2 days later and remained at Westchester Medical for 2 weeks. I would be remiss if I did not mention a few other first responders and medical personnel who played a vital role in John's remarkable recovery. That includes the helicopter pilot, the paramedics on board the airship, as well as the emergency room nurses, doctors, surgeons at Westchester Medical Center, who provided the incredible care that allowed John to return home to his family. On August 26, 2025, John was officially released from Westchester Medical Center. To welcome him home, he was given a true hometown heroes parade, with lights flashing, sirens sounding. Police and fire departments provided a full escort from the hospital back to his house here in Fishkill. An emotional, well-deserved tribute to his strength and survival. In closing, I'd like to share a few words with the families of our first responders. Your support and understanding are invisible armor that protects our protectors. The worry you carry each time your loved ones answer a call for service is a sacrifice in itself. Your strength and resilience do not go unnoticed, and we thank you for sharing your heroes with us. Linda, after being with John for more than 26 years and recently married, we cannot imagine what you went through today and the days that followed, all before John was out of danger and on the road to recovery. But I think you know deep down that the Firematic family and the support from this incredible community made the emotional tragedy just a little bit easier. May we always appreciate the peace and safety we enjoy because of the men and women who answer the call, no matter the hour or the danger. To all our police officers, firefighters, paramedics, EMTs, we see you, we thank you, and we stand with you. Your service honors us well. I'd like to introduce a few people who'd like to say a few words here tonight before we move on to present the proclamations. Dutchess County Emergency Responder Coordinator would like to say a few words on behalf of the County Executive, William Beal.
What an incredible and monumental moment this is. This is actually the first time I've actually made any contact with you. Of course, we drove by the house and waved, but I'm shaking. It's an honor to be joined by Dutchess County Legislative Chair Will Truitt, Public Safety Committee Chair Legislator Robert Faust, Legislator Doug McCool, Legislator Valdez Smith. On behalf of Dutchess County Executive Sue Serino, I am Dutchess County Department of Emergency Response Commissioner William Beal. It is an honor to stand in the presence of heroes tonight. Each and every one of you were in the right place at the exact right time and did the exact thing that you needed to do, which beat all the odds that were stacked against you all. And I believe by the grace of God, this living miracle is right here with us today. As was mentioned, the Lazarus effect is beyond extremely rare. Far less than 1% of victims who receive CPR and are pronounced clinically dead have ever recovered, let alone been able to sit right here with us this evening. Very few people can say that they have been part of such a significant chain of events, and even less can take any level of credit for this miraculous outcome. The bottom line is John would not be here today without the heroic persistence of every single one of these individuals. On behalf of the county executive and the residents of Dutchess County, I say thank you to those who will receive certificates this evening, but also thank you to the teams that stand behind each and every one of these individuals every single day. I have some certificates that I can hold or I can pass to you right now, but I just want to mention these names very quickly on behalf of the county executive. Being recognized by Dutchess County government this evening, Luigi Manente, thank you for your heroic decision-making that day. Deputy Ben Concha from the Dutchess County Sheriff's Office, thank you for your hard work that day. Police Officer Dennis Karaman, Town of Fishkill Police, thank you for your persistence and hard work that day. Dustin Moores from Empress EMS, thank you for your hard work as well. Gladys Plaza Guzman from Empress EMS, thank you for your skilled performance of life-saving actions that day. And to the entire emergency department team at Montefiore St. Luke's Cornwall Hospital, thank you for this miracle today. Thank you.
Luigi Minetti, our Good Samaritan neighbor whose quick actions were nothing short of heroic.
Come, Holy Spirit, come through Mary. Mr. Supervisor, esteemed members of the council, good evening. My name is Luigi Manente, and I was asked to share a story with you all. It's not a story of anything I did or accomplished, but a story of someone who is so dearly beloved by the Father in heaven and by so many others, someone so important and necessary to his family, friends, and community, that this person wrestled with and fought off death, and he did so with the help of the intercession of Our Lady, the Blessed Virgin Mary. Being a husband and a father of 5 young children and another one on the way, I wake up early and I put an hour of prayer in every day so that I can consecrate my day to the Lord. It is the only practical way for me to make time to pray. So for those who have heard stories or rumors, yes, I am that crazy guy who was out at 5 a.m. praying the rosary as I walked through my neighborhood that morning. Yes, I am the one who called in the fire. Yes, I was the one there when Assistant Fire Chief Lucarello, first on the scene, arrived and collapsed in the gate. Yes, I am the one who helped Reserve Deputy Concha carry the Assistant Fire Chief to the front lawn, where he began life-saving measures. And yes, I'm also weak. I am the one who gave in to fear and cowardice and left the officer and the assistant fire chief on the front lawn to go hose down the back deck because I would much rather put out a fire than to watch someone die. A big shout out to Reserve Deputy Concha, who didn't let fear rule him or hopelessness overshadow him. I never witnessed such strong composure and confidence in the face of something that to me was so frightening. But what I didn't count on was that Our Lady, the Blessed Virgin Mary, was there before I ever was. Her hand was already in everything. For the previous 3 weeks, I was waking up at 5:15 in the morning, and not getting on the road for my rosary until closer to 6 a.m. But for some reason, I woke up at 4:15 a.m. and felt the need to rise and to pray. As I watched the EMS workers apply all their talents and treasures into trying to save the assistant chief's life, Mary was there giving strength, courage, and resilience to the first responders. She continued to guide their heroic efforts as they transported the assistant chief to St. Luke's Cornwall Hospital, making them stubborn to a fault so as not to give up on him. And while she was doing that, she was simultaneously consoling the assistant chief's comrades in arms as they worked to extinguish the fire, giving them a fierce sense of purpose, while they ponder in their hearts the future of their dear friend. Then came that moment of darkness. I was standing on the adjacent driveway when we noticed whispering happening amongst the firefighters, with one of them screaming out in pain and anger as they came to grips finding out their friend had passed away. I know it seems and sounds stupid to hear, but at that moment, I felt responsible. I had let my fear guide my thoughts and actions rather than my faith strengthen my resolve. In that moment, my heart cried out to Mary, and I asked her, "Mary, if there is anything you can do, please do it now." And it was in that moment I encountered grace. At that very moment, an image came to my mind, and it was Jesus approaching Martha and Mary after Lazarus had died. And I watched them say to Jesus, "Lord, if you had been here, our brother would not have died. But even now, we know that the Father hears you." And then I remembered what Jesus had said to his disciples. This had happened so that my name may be glorified. And in that moment, I asked the Lord to glorify himself. 20 minutes later, we found out that the assistant fire chief was breathing and intubated. It wasn't for 2 days afterwards that I had learned that the assistant fire chief was declared dead for 7 minutes, and then spontaneously his heart started beating on its own, and his lungs started breathing on their own. I only shared that moment of grace with a few people initially. I had many friends and family praying in union with the thousands of people praying for the assistant fire chief over the next few days for miracle after miracle. And miracle after miracle is what he received. He woke up. He was able to move his extremities. He was able to communicate. He had emergency triple heart bypass surgery, and now he is home. He is a living miracle. After Mary had interceded with the assistant fire chief's life that very morning, she stayed with him. She was there safely escorting the helicopter as they medevaced him to Westchester Med. She was there consoling his family and friends and guiding the doctors in their decisions. She was there gently guiding the instruments they used as they worked on his heart, and she was there strengthening and healing him as he recovered. To the law enforcement, first responders, and medical professionals who gave everything that morning, thank you for your service. You are a gift to this community and all those you serve. Your dedication, tireless efforts, and strength are a testament and witness to the good in this world. I like to describe what happened that morning like this. You were all a football team, and Mary was your quarterback. You started on your own 1-yard line and marched all the way down the field, undeterred by death. But death's defense of the end zone was insurmountable. You did all that was humanly possible. So then graciously you stepped aside and you let our Lord and our Lady put it in the end zone. When our friend, whose house was on fire that morning, returned from vacation, he asked what he could get me to say thank you. I told him to pray a rosary with his family. And he did. And he also gifted me with these beautiful rosary beads from Jerusalem, made from olive wood. Immediately, I had this desire to gift these to the assistant fire chief, but didn't know if I would ever have the opportunity. I asked God to open a door for me, and guess what? He just opened a big door for me. And since receiving these beads, they have been blessed by the Bishop of Bridgeport. They have been blessed by first-class relics of St. Padre Pio and St. Teresa of Avila, whose feast day is today. No exaggeration, thousands of prayers have already been prayed on them. I continue to pray for all of you here, especially for the Assistant Fire Chief as you continue this journey of life with a renewed sense of purpose and mission. The good Lord and Our Lady saw you as necessary in the work of salvation to bring you back from death. May Christ's peace and Our Lady's grace rest with you today and always. Thank you.
How do you follow that? Next person that'd like to say a few words is John Bellisconi. He's the Director, Emergency Nursing Department, Montefiore St. Luke Cornwall Hospital, who represents the incredible medical team that fought so hard for John's life. Sir?
Good evening, everybody. As Scott said, that's a very hard act to follow, so I'm going to try to do the best I can here. My name is John Belancioni. I am the Emergency Nurse Director at Montefiore St. Luke's Hospital. On behalf of Montefiore St. Luke's, I appreciate and stand in awe of this entire evening. I do want to point out my Assistant Vice President, Christopher Reinhardt, who's also here from our nursing leadership team, who wants to share in this unbelievable event that took place that had the most unbelievable outcome. At the end of what I'm going to talk about, I do have nurse practitioners, and 2 ER physicians who were there that morning who assisted in making sure John was able to go home to his family. I'm going to read 2 emails, one from Dr. Ahari, Sharam Ahari, who is our ER director, who was not there that particular morning, but did follow up with an email when we were aware of what had happened to John and what John's outcome was going to be, as well as an email from Daniel Morhan, who is our Chief Executive Officer and President of Montefiore St. Luke's. So just bear with me. I know we talked about the Lazarus effect a little bit here, but I felt the need, speaking with Scott, that these emails should be read. So this is from Dr. Ahari. Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks to the excellent collaborative care provided by the cardiology, ICU, EMS, and ED teams, a member of our community will walk home to his family alive and well in this very unusual case. On August 11th, during the very early morning, a local assistant fire chief, John Lucarella, was brought to our ED after an unwitnessed cardiac arrest while responding to a fire. With no pulse, no shockable rhythm, and no reassuring neurological signs, his prognosis looked very poor. In the ED, his code extended well over an hour, and the morning team came in to assist the night team. Amazingly, the patient's heart spontaneously recovered a strong perfusing rhythm 7 minutes after the code was initially terminated, and death was seemingly confirmed with a neurological and ultrasound cardiac assessment. Mr. Lucarella was further stabilized in the cath lab and ICU before he was transferred via helicopter to Westchester Medical Center for emergency cardiac surgery. Dr. Ahari would like to thank Dr. Hadid for his rapid assistance in treating this patient, and also like to thank our ICU team, including Dr. Garwin, Dr. Vasuthian, and Dr. Akamojo for their excellent collaborative efforts. Lastly, he would like to bring attention to the phenomenal resuscitative efforts, including those that began before the patient's arrival in the ED with the Empress Ambulance crew, led by Dustin Moore, and our ED overnight and morning teams that included Dr. Schramm, Dr. Cohen, Nurse Practitioner Pagan, Nurses Harley Illingworth, Dan Olson, Todd Holbert, and Tech Suzette Chambers and Maria Figueroa. No one succeeds alone in emergency medicine, but your teamwork was outstanding. They call this Lazarus phenomenon in part because it seems like a miracle. However, outcomes such as his, with near complete recovery, typically occur only after high-quality resuscitative efforts. This gentleman has gone home to his family thanks to the exemplary care provided by you all. You help patients every day you work. However, there are a few moments when you can look at a specific patient and know with complete confidence that your efforts definitely saved a life. This was one of those moments, and I am proud to work at the same hospital with you all. That was Dr. Ahari. From our President and CEO, Dan Moorhan, dear colleagues, reading this message gave me chills and filled me with an overwhelming sense of pride, gratitude, and awe at what can be accomplished when skill, teamwork, and perseverance come together under the most challenging circumstances. To say that this was a remarkable save would be an understatement. What happened with John is nothing short of extraordinary, a testament not only to the clinical expertise of everyone involved, but also to the unshakable commitment to doing everything possible, even when the odds seemed impossible. The fact that this gentleman is alive today, walking, talking, and returning to his family is because of each of you. From EMS's early intervention to the relentless efforts in the ED, the seamless ICU management, and the rapid coordination of his transfer for emergency surgery, every link in the chain held strong. You didn't give up even when the picture looked grim, and because of that, a life was truly saved. Stories like this remind us of why we do what we do, and why every moment matters. They also remind us that sometimes miracles are made not by chance, but by people who refuse to quit, who trust in each other, and who show up ready to give their all. Thank you to each and every person who touched this case. Your courage, skill, and heart made the difference, and I am deeply honored to be part of this team. With sincere appreciation, Dan, which is Dan Moorhan. I will say personally, I was a paramedic, been a paramedic and a nurse for over 30 years. And as Scott pointed out, many times we don't like to be on this side of the podium. We don't like to be recognized. We like to stay in the shadows, do our job, and go home. And hope that, hey, maybe that day I made a difference. So I'm going to point out my staff. Harley Illingworth, please stand. Daniel Olson, one of our night nurses, please stand. Nurse practitioner Joanna Pagan, please stand. ER physician Christopher Schramm and Alex Cohen, please stand. These individuals represent a greater emergency medical team that works at St. Luke's Cornwall Hospital that I'm proud to be able to be their nurse director. And it's because of their efforts and the efforts that started literally the minute Mr. Lucarello hit the ground, so to speak. He is here today. So on behalf of Montefiore St. Luke's, on behalf of everybody here today, we are a brotherhood, we are a sisterhood, we stand together. And I recognize the outstanding efforts of EMS, fire, police, and I applaud you all for your efforts. Thank you very much.
Thank you, John. Frank Abuse, the homeowner who was in contact with Luigi during these critical early moments. I'd like to say a few words.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
My name is Firas Abbasi. I just wanted to stop tonight and say, first and foremost, to God and our Lord Jesus Christ for a miracle of amazing wonders. Also, I would like to, while I was sitting here listening to everybody talk, I looked around the room, and I'm very honored to see how many heroes are in this room today. So I would like to just applaud everybody. I'd like to thank the fire department, the police department, to John for his 30-plus years of service to our community. I've only been up in Fishkill for the last 4 to 5 years now, and it's a beautiful place, and it's for people like you guys in this room that make it even better. I also would like to present John with a little gift. This is the miraculous medal it's called. I would just like to give you that. That way, anytime you want to look at it, you can remember that Boston County is grateful for all that you've done. And to Luigi, this is a rosary that I'd like to give to you. And both of them have been blessed from Father Bancroft from Mary, Mother of the Church, with a special blessing with these 2 gifts. And I just want to thank you guys for all you did, because if it wasn't for you and everybody else in this room, John wouldn't be here, and maybe I wouldn't have a home. So to everybody, thank you guys, and God bless.
We're going to ask all the county legislators to come up first. County Legislator Doug McCool, William Truitt, Robert Faust. They'd like to say a few things and have some proclamations.
Yeah.
Vivek
Valdez-Smith.
Valdez, I'm sorry. Just put them all underneath there, we'll give it to them afterwards.
Members of the Fishkill Town Board, neighbors, everyone here in attendance today, thank you for letting us be here to witness this. What a beautiful ceremony. It's far too often nowadays, it feels like all the news that you hear out there is dark, bad, depressing. But to be here to witness this story and this miracle is incredible, John, and to everyone who played a part in this, we are so thankful for you. And it just goes to show, we in Dutchess County government and all of us that serve in elected office, this is what we are here for. We're here to support our community and provide just one chain, one link in that chain to help a situation like this have a positive outcome. And we are so blessed by the men and women in emergency response, law enforcement, and our medical professionals for what they were able to do in this situation. And I have to say, there is no way that God did not have his hand on you, John, and to every single person, Luigi, and everyone here that partook in this. And so I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you. And John, we're looking forward to just seeing you back out in the community. I mean, when I get the flu, sometimes I'm down for 2 to 3 weeks at a time. 5 weeks, I mean, that's incredible. So I just want to say congratulations and God bless you, sir. And we're honored to present you with these certificates.
So, you know, a lot of people here know what my day job is. And not to make light of it, but everybody here who knows John knows that John loves a crowd giving him all the attention that he can get. Right? He eats it up. But I'm sure he's valuing this moment and every single minute more than ever based on what's happened to him over the past couple of months. And John, you are a top-notch individual. Town of Fishkill and Dutchess County is so fortunate to have you with us and your continued service from this point forward. And then Father Tom, I see you in the back there. You have a candidate for the deaconate sitting in the front pew, in the front row. You might want to grab him on your way out. So. Okay. I bet you do. I bet you do. Yvette?
Thank you. John, the word miracle cannot be stated enough in your life from now on or tonight. But everybody in this room, this is what makes Fishkill Fishkill. And my little boy was desperate to come tonight because John is his hero. He can't believe the story, and he wants to hear it before bed. Again, this is what makes Fishkill Fishkill. Thank you for all of your service and the service that I know you will continue to do, and I look forward to more of your jokes because the sense of humor there is lurking. But thank you to our first responders, because none of this is possible, and our community isn't possible, and our safety isn't possible without everybody being part of it. So I'm honored to be able to have you back and have you back in service, and we thank you from the bottom of our hearts.
I just want to thank the town board for having me here. I've known John many years. I did 7 years with the PD. Started my police career as a cadet in Putnam at age 14. I got a call from an investigator that lives in Florida. He's a Putnam County sheriff, and I used to ride along with him. He said, "You got to take care of my brother-in-law tonight. Are you going to this event in Fishkill?" I said, "Who's your brother-in-law?" He said, "Luigi." I said, "Wow, okay." So I got that call from Florida a few days ago. I want to thank the town board. Carmine had me here. Thank you, Carmine. And Fishkill will always be home. I love this police department. I know all the guys. I want to say, John, I love you. When I heard this, I immediately called down anything I could do. I called the major of the state police. We tried to get you everything we could for your escort. And I love you. I did it out of kindness. Everybody just did everything they could for you. So God bless you. We love you.
Yep. I got you.
Jeff Marino, the fire chief of the Roundabout Fire Department, and a leader who stood strong for his team through this entire ordeal. Car 1.
Well, as I walk up here, we get dispatched for yet another fire call. But hi, folks. I'm Jeff Marino. I'm the chief of the Roundabout Fire District and the Roundabout Fire Company. And as many of you know, we are responsible for protecting over half the town of Fishkill, the busy half, from fire and for fire and rescue protection. Our members respond to about 600 calls a year, and in addition to that, we also operate a catering service, which is our main form of nonprofit fundraising that we have to do. So I'm sure you're all familiar with our pancake breakfasts. I tell you all this because one person has been absolutely integral to all of that. John has been a chief officer since I joined over 31 years ago. He has been chief of department 4 times and has been the all-time top responder, averaging over 95% of all those calls over that entire period of time. In addition to that, he's got probably another dozen hats he wears around the firehouse, and he's a very important guy. So, why I tell you all that is to all of you being recognized. Not only did you save a life, but you may very well have saved our entire organization from having to fill a void so large that we might not have recovered. I want to first thank all the members of the Roundabout Fire Company and their families who've all stepped up during these difficult times to keep our mission solid. I further want to thank our neighboring fire companies who came to our assistance to help protect our community when we were having a hard time doing it. and also our county and state officials who were right there to support us and help us navigate through these uncharted territories. But most of all, I want to thank all of you who are being honored tonight, because your vigilance, your citizenship, your training expertise, and your persistence, which resulted in this, resulted in the truly miraculous outcome in this horrible, horrible event. Every link in the chain was strong as steel, and all of your efforts were truly heroic. And that's all I can really say about this tonight. John, we are so glad that you're back with us, and all these people were there to make sure it happened. Thank you all.
At this time, I'm going to ask the councilman supervisor to read your proclamations as you have in front of you for our honorary guests.
All right. You're up first, Brian.
This is a proclamation first for Luigi Mananti, and I've never met you before, and you're quite an astounding individual. Your remarks were amazing. And everything that you did put everything else in motion. So it started with you, and the Lord was with you. So, proclamation recognizing the life-saving efforts of Fishkill resident Luigi Mananti. Whereas Luigi Mananti is a town of Fishkill resident, and whereas on August 11, 2025, Mr. Mananti noticed a fire at his neighbor's house and phoned 911, and whereas Fire Chief John Lucarella was first to arrive on the scene, whereas Chief Lucarella suffered a medical emergency, which was later determined to be a heart attack, and whereas Luigi Mananti found that Chief Lucarella had collapsed and alerted Deputy Sheriff to the situation, and whereas Mr. Mananti then assisted the deputy in moving Chief Lucarella to the front of the residence, and whereas while the deputy sheriff was with Chief Lucarella, Luigi took it upon himself to go back to the neighbor's house and attempt to fight the fire using a garden hose until additional members of the fire department arrived, and whereas the actions and events that transpired in the early morning hours of August 11, 2025 are extraordinary, and Mr. Mananti rose to the occasion with his deeds. And whereas through his actions on August 11, 2025, Town of Fishkill resident Luigi Mananti did perform selfless acts which helped to save John Lucarella's life and are an inspiration to our entire community here in the town of Fishkill and beyond, which fully merits the recognition and gratitude of all of the residents. And whereas the town board seeks to recognize those individuals who go above and beyond to perform the act of service to the Fishkill community, now therefore be it resolved, the town board of the town of Fishkill does hereby proclaim its gratitude to Fishkill resident Luigi Mananti for his selfless acts and in helping save the life of Fire Chief John Lucarella on August 11, 2025. And be it further resolved that the town board of the town of Fishkill shall present a copy of this proclamation to Luigi Mananti at the October 15, 2025 town board meeting or as soon thereafter as possible in the spirit of gratitude and recognition by order of the town board of the town of Fishkill on this 15th day of October 2025.
Luigi, with all the extra rosary beads you have, you're going to have to start at 3 a.m. now, just so you know. Okay, proclamation recognizing the life-saving efforts of Deputy Sheriff Ben Concha. Whereas Ben Concha is a deputy sheriff employed by the Dutchess County Sheriff's Department. And whereas on August 11, 2025, Deputy Concha arrived at the scene of a fire on Penny Place in the town of Fishkill. And whereas upon arrival, he was notified by a resident that Fire Chief John Lucarello had collapsed and the chief needed medical assistance immediately. And whereas Deputy Sheriff Concha evaluated Chief Lucarello and determined that Chief Lucarello was having a heart attack. And whereas the Deputy Concha immediately began CPR on the chief. And whereas the deputy continued CPR efforts until paramedics arrived and assisted in them in securing Chief Lucarello into the ambulance. And whereas it is a known fact that CPR, when started immediately, increases the chances of a person's survival greatly. And whereas the quick thinking and administration of CPR by Deputy Sheriff Ben Concha certainly played a major role in saving the life of Fire Chief John Lucarello in the early morning hours of August 11, 2025. And whereas through his actions on August 11, 2025, Deputy Sheriff Ben Concha of the Dutchess County Sheriff's Department did perform CPR, which helped to save Fire Chief John Lucarello's life, and is an inspirational example to all law enforcement members and to our community in the town of Fishkill and beyond, which fully merits the recognition and gratitude of all the residents of Fishkill. And whereas the town board seeks to recognize those individuals who go above and beyond to perform an act of service to the Fishkill community. Now therefore be it resolved, the town board of the town of Fishkill does hereby proclaim its gratitude to Deputy Sheriff Ben Concha for his selfless act in helping save the life of Fire Chief John Lucarello on August 11th, 2025. And further resolved, the town board of the town of Fishkill shall present a copy of this proclamation to Deputy Sheriff Ben Concha at the October 15th, 2025 town board meeting, or as soon as thereafter as possible, in the spirit of gratitude and recognition, by order of the town board on the town of Fishkill, on this 15th day of October 2025.
Deputy wasn't able to attend here tonight. I'll get that from you, Councilman, and make sure the sheriff presents it to him.
Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you, John. Yep. The next proclamation is recognizing the life-saving efforts of police officer Dennis Karaman. Whereas Dennis Karaman is a police officer employed by the town of Fishkill Police Department. Whereas on August 11th, 2025, Officer Karaman responded to the scene of a house fire on Penny Place in the town of Fishkill. And whereas upon arrival, he witnessed a medical emergency with Fire Chief Lucarello. And whereas Deputy Sheriff and paramedics were working on the Fire Chief as he was having a heart attack, and whereas Officer Karaman assisted in securing Chief Lucarello in the ambulance, and whereas Police Officer Karaman took it upon himself to drive the ambulance to the hospital so that both paramedics could stay in the back of the rig with the chief to render life-saving aid. Whereas the quick thinking of action of Police Officer Karaman to drive the ambulance that morning helped contribute to the life-saving of the chief. Whereas the town board seeks to recognize those individuals who go above and beyond to perform an act of service to the Fishkill community. Now therefore it be resolved, the town board of the town of Fishkill does hereby proclaim its gratitude to Police Officer Dennis Karaman for his selfless act in helping saving the life of Fire Chief John Lucarello on August 11th, 2025, and be it further resolved that the town board of the town of Fishkill shall present a copy of this proclamation to the town of Fishkill Police Officer Dennis Karaman at the October 15th, 2025 town board meeting by order of the town board of the town of Fishkill on this 15th day of June, October 2025. Congratulations, officer.
Thank you.
Well done, sir. Yep.
I have a proclamation for two individuals. Before I read it, In the course of my life, I've had to hear the details about the passing of a friend. I've never before had that happen while sitting in the room with that friend, looking him directly in the eyes. To say that this moment is extraordinary would be an understatement of epic proportion. And it is thanks in no small part to the people who I'm proud to recognize now. A proclamation recognizing the life-saving paramedics Gladys Plaza Guzman and Dustin Moore. Whereas Empress Emergency Medical Services provides ambulance service for town of Fishkill residents. And whereas on August 11th, 2025, paramedics Gladys Plaza Guzman and Dustin Moore responded to Penny Place in the town of Fishkill for a medical emergency. And whereas upon arrival, they witnessed a Dutchess County Sheriff deputy performing CPR on Fire Chief John Lucarello, who had collapsed with a heart attack while responding to a house fire. And whereas they took over CPR from the deputy sheriff and both stayed with the fire chief in the back of the ambulance. And whereas both paramedics continued their life-saving efforts until the ambulance arrived at Montefiore St. Luke's Hospital, where they were relieved by emergency staff. And whereas the continual administration of CPR to Fire Chief John Lucarello played a pivotal role in saving his life. And whereas the town board seeks to recognize those individuals who go above and beyond to perform an act of service to the Fishkill community, now therefore be it resolved. The town board of the town of Fishkill does hereby proclaim its gratitude to Empress Emergency Medical Services paramedics Gladys Plaza Guzman and Dustin Moore for their steadfast actions and medical skill in helping save the life of Fire Chief John Lucarello on August 11th, 2025. And be it further resolved, the town board of the town of Fishkill shall present a copy of this proclamation to paramedics Gladys Plaza Guzman and Dustin Moore at the October 15th, 2025 town board meeting, or as soon thereafter as possible, in the spirit of gratitude and recognition, by order of the town board of the town of Fishkill on this, the 15th day of October, 2025.
Hear, hear.
So it's funny, this was not the proclamation I was supposed to read, but it was handed to me to read. And I actually started the first 12 years of my career as a pharmacist at Montefiore Medical Center, Moses Division in the Bronx. So I've had the opportunity to be the person in charge of the crash cart, and I know that incredible empty sadness when you lose somebody, and the joy and the elation when you can do something to save somebody. And that's kind of what makes us keep going back to these crazy jobs that we healthcare workers work at. So without ado, proclamation recognizing Montefiore St. Luke's Cornwall Hospital Emergency Department. Whereas Montefiore St. Luke's Cornwall serves the Hudson Valley, and whereas on the morning of August 11th, 2025, St. Luke's Cornwall Hospital Emergency Room received a patient, Fire Chief John Lucarello, who had suffered a heart attack while responding to a house fire in the town of Fishkill. And whereas the cardiology, ICU, and emergency departments all worked together in saving the life of Fire Chief. And whereas a saying goes, no one succeeds alone in emergency medicine, but your teamwork was what made this a success story. And whereas the fire chief and the residents of Fishkill want to thank St. Luke's Hospital for serving our community, and whereas the town board seeks to recognize those individuals who go above and beyond to perform an act of service to the Fishkill community. Now therefore be it resolved, the town board of the town of Fishkill does hereby proclaim its gratitude to Montefiore St. Luke's Hospital for saving the life of Fire Chief John Lucarello, and for all they do for our community. And be it further resolved, the town board of the town of Fishkill shall present a copy of this proclamation to Montefiore St. Luke's Hospital Emergency Department at the October 15, 2025 town board meeting, or as soon thereafter as possible, in the spirit of gratitude and recognition. by order of the Town Board of the Town of Fishkill on this 15th day of October 2025. Thank you.
Was that?
Oh, no.
We were going to post for pictures at the end, right?
Yes.
Commissioner, pictures at the end, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Just an amazing story. Thanks to the courage and care of so many of you, from first responders to medical teams and neighbors, John is here today. Able to return home to his family, he wants to express his deepest gratitude to everyone who made his recovery possible. Please join me in giving a warm welcome, round of applause, Roundabout Fire Department Chief, Car 3, John Lucarella.
They're here.
Thanks, everybody. Just before I start, can I just be politically correct? And my cardiologist told what I had was a cardiac event, not a heart attack. Is that right in saying that? No? All right. Supervisor Albert, Town Board members, I'd first like to say thank you from my family and myself to the Town Board and the Supervisor for taking the opportunity shown this evening to recognize these individuals that saved my life, and to Police Commissioner Bierce for putting this recognition together. Also to Deputy Concha, Paramedic Dustin Moore, which, by the way, I've known him for 17 years, and I just don't know how you worked on me for all the time you did, knowing me for that long. It's just amazing. I'm just really amazing. Thank you. And to EMT Gladys, Town of Fishkill Police Officer Caraman, and resident Luigi Minetti, for your initial life-saving efforts performed in the beginning of a bad situation. Also to the hospital staff at St. Luke's Emergency Department that performed their jobs flawlessly, I give a very deep-hearted thank you to all involved in the assistance they provided in saving my life. Thank you. To the cardiothoracic unit at Westchester Medical Center led by Surgeon Dr. Spielvogel, who reaffirmed to my family that he could perform the life-saving surgery. That's my grandson. And to cardiothoracic unit doctors and nursing staff from floor number 2 that assisted with the surgery and initial recovery, I say thank you. Also to the nurses and doctors who continued to provide excellent care when I was recovering on number 4 floor, I also say thank you. The support and friendship shown will not be forgotten. To Chief Brandon Knapp and members of the Village of Fishkill Fire Department for their assistance they provided handling all of Rambaud's calls during this horrible situation, and as they continue to provide support to the Rambaud Fire District, thank you for all you've done. To Danny Burke, From the first time I met him, Danny has been there for my family and myself in more ways than one. I consider Danny a brother not just in the firehouse, but in my family. When he heard about what had happened, he never hesitated to provide assistance to my family and to the Roundabout Fire District. The support shown will never be forgotten. Thank you, Dan. A big thank you to Highway Superintendent Carmine Isfan. Carmine, you were there from the beginning, providing support and love to my family, for being positive and staying focused during my ordeal, for believing in me and being my voice of reason. Thank you, Carmine. To the community and the fire departments that sent well wishes and their prayers for a speedy recovery, thank you. To the people that texted and called, I apologize I could not answer every one of them, but know in my heart I was thinking of you all, and I thank you. To the Roundabout Fire Company and Fire District, Chief Marino, Assistant Chief Lamery, and members of the fire company, for the love and support they have shown my family and myself. From the escort of my family to Westchester Medical Center the day it happened, to my discharge from the hospital, a police escort with numerous fire departments and EMS personnel that took the time out of the day to provide an escort straight to my front door was really a sight to see. I have never seen a police escort with so many police agencies and fire departments involved for one individual. Then the Heroes Parade that passed by my house, it was very overwhelming to see over 30 fire departments from 4 different counties be involved and support our brother firemen. Thank you all. To my family, Jeff and his wife Alicia, words cannot express the outpouring of love and support you have shown from the very beginning until my discharge. You both worked all day and somehow made time to drive to Westchester to be with me. The compassion and thoughtfulness is truly a feeling inside that will be with me forever. To my other brother Jimmy, my daughters Christina and Kimberly, the love you have shown me is truly what families are all about. From the day it happened to this day today, there isn't a day that goes by without a phone call, visit, or a text seeing how I'm doing or feeling. It's truly inspiring. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. To my wife Linda, it was mentioned it was almost 26 years we did get married.
That's a clap.
When this first happened, you never stopped believing I would survive. When they pronounced me deceased at the hospital, you never doubted in your mind that I was going to survive. You stayed strong and believed I would pull through. You never missed a day traveling to Westchester to be with me and prayed for me that I would get better. To the doctor's appointments and trips to the lawyers, making sure I was always comfortable being home and making sure I had everything I needed in my recovery, providing everlasting love and support. Hang on, last page. Always being positive, never letting your feelings get in the way, putting my needs over yours. I can never thank you enough for what you have done for me. Your love, support, and being my wife is a feeling I will never forget. Thank you. I love you from here to eternity. As I stand here, before you all, I can wholeheartedly say, for some reasons more than other, miracles do happen. I am living proof. I have been given a second chance, and I thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Is that it? So we're going to take pictures. Let's do that right now. So set that up.
We'll take a few minutes and we'll get some pictures here with the council people and elected officials.
Yeah. Yep. Everybody that got a proclamation and their people, come up to the front in front of the town seal.
Yeah. Just you for now.
I'm just going to make sure that he's going to give me time.
Yeah, give me right this. That'll make it a whole lot easier.
Let's squeeze in together here. Luigi, you gotta get up here too. Yes.
I didn't take it. All right, look here, Brian. Yep. I did everyone. Let me turn around. Trying to, but they're not turning around. Yeah.
Here we go. Sit right here. Hero. Everybody good? That's it. Dan, good? Excellent.
I knew
knew this was going to be big. I had no idea it was going to be this big. This is just amazing. It's going to be quicker after this. We're good shape. Well, this is special. Come on, this you gotta. Take one with you.
Control.
Totally photobombing this. I totally photobombed that. Nope, I just make sure I was visible over top of the bed. Pretty good, pretty good. This was quite the, we'll talk soon. Hopefully not too soon, though. Not about the other thing. Other than the police chief appointment, I think we're in pretty good shape.
Yeah, start flying.
Would be nice to let him go.
Right, I think a lot of people want to go home.
Yes, sir.
I think that we're going to have a meeting.
Well, planning board, I hope. This go there. Okay, so.
If everyone could return to their seat.
Well, I would expect to have more counsel. Oh, no, take your time. I'm not the one who said that. Hey, excellent program. You don't sound like me.
I'm going to give this to him at the sheriff's office. Is that all right? Oh, you're going to do it? Okay. Okay. Good. Thank you. Yes. 2-minute warning. 2-minute warning.
It's a great thing that happened. It's a miracle. Joey.
God bless. God, it's our pleasure. Are you kidding? Fantastic. They don't get enough, you guys don't get enough credit. I'm sitting here looking at all the pieces that came together. You know, the only people not here were Westchester Medical. You know, it's phenomenal. It's the love for that guy, but also for everyone's efforts. All you guys. You're perfect. You're perfect. It's perfect. Good. Yeah.
I've
Oh, I
never
know.
had a problem.
I know. Bring it. I'm sitting here.
Trying
So
to
when I'm
put
reading that guy's proclamation, I'm
anything
doing
into
everything I
that, like
can
there's
to
something
keep.
wrong with this.
I'm choking up. I'm like, you know, just
No, they're not.
God bless. Good seeing you, man.
I just needed a burp.
Thank you for being here. Appreciate it. Appreciate everything you guys do.
I loosened it for you. I loosened it for
Good.
you.
Good.
I'm working this weekend. Yeah. Yeah, let's do that.
Absolutely. Of course. Thank you for being here and doing what you guys do best. We're grateful to have you.
Thank you again. Yeah. Thanks.
So close the door.
Let's lock and load.
All right, here we go. Next up is introduction of new employees. We had a camp director, came with her family, but since it's an hour and 40 minutes later, we let them go home. Next up is Commissioner Beers. Can you introduce our next candidate for police chief?
Thank you for the opportunity. Tonight, I'd like to introduce Christopher Stradner. Chris comes to the town of Fishkill with 28 years of law enforcement experience, gaining first in Westchester, then in Rockland County, where he most recently serves as the Rockland County Director of the Police Academy. Although he started in the police department with only a high school diploma, he earned degrees in psychology from Columbia University and a law degree from Seton Hall University, both while working full-time. He's taught police tactics to police departments as close as Poughkeepsie and as far away as Taiwan. I'd like to introduce to you the 6th police chief in the town of Fishkill, Chris Stratner.
Thank you.
Speak closer to the mic, please.
Sure. I guess I'd just say that if I was going to describe myself, I'm probably someone who is full of gratitude. You know, I was a terrible rookie. I have to be honest with you. I didn't mention that in any of the interviews.
Now he tells us.
Can we change our mind now?
It's true.
Motion to amend?
Can you put the mic closer to
Yes,
your mouth so we can hear that? You know, repeat that.
What a
I'm just
terrible
kidding, I'm
rookie
just-
I was.
Oh, yeah.
I'll say that again.
Yeah, spill the tea.
Yeah, it was awful. And so I am always grateful for all the sergeants and lieutenants and chiefs who had patience with me and then devoted their time and energy into making my resume look the way it does now. You know, I had the support of a sergeant who pushed me into special operations, and a lieutenant who gave me the freedom to run the street crime unit, and a chief who gave me command of the village in Nyack. And I am grateful to all of them. And then the Department of Homeland Security Emergency Service, who put me elbow to elbow with some of the most amazing talent in the state of New York, and the Division of Criminal Justice Service, who did the same. So I am really, to sum it up, the commissioner had some sort of nice bio there, but in reality, I'm just someone who wakes up grateful every day that I was able to get all of that input from all those people to be standing here now.
Okay. Any board members have any questions?
I just have one.
Go.
If you could take a moment to greet the residents of the town of Fishkill, offer a message as an incoming chief about what they can expect from you in the department moving forward.
Sure. Well, I am looking forward to exercising some good, ethical, strong leadership with the police department. I think that's the backbone of modern law enforcement. I am very deeply committed to listening as much as anything else. I would say right now, I probably don't even know what I don't know. And I'm looking forward to working with our partners in fire department, EMS, highway, schools, all of the other agencies that will work together, and then listening to the community, and most importantly, listening to the officers and command staff of the police department so that I can learn how best to serve the agency and the town.
Thank you.
Jackie, any questions?
No, just welcome. We're looking forward to working with you as well.
Thank you.
Counselor?
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I was able to be on the interview committee. We interviewed several candidates that were looking for this position, and I am very honored to say that you are on the top of everyone's list. So I do believe we have made the right decision. I think you're going to find the senior officers in this department to be very helpful, and I think you're coming to a great family, and welcome.
Thank you.
Basically echoing what John just said, there's no doubt about it. And I've talked to several officers about you, and they're ready to support you and your tenure here. And I've told a lot of people in the town of Fishkill already that we have a chief. We've had good chiefs, and we have good people, and we have people in our department that could be chief. But we made our decision, and we chose you, and we know that we're going to have exceptional leadership, and we're looking forward to just a great tenure and great results. Look forward to hearing more about all that you're accomplishing with our great department.
Thank you for your confidence.
Any follow-up questions? Any board members with any follow-up questions?
No.
Okay, I'm going to bring you up here and find out.
Ozzy, do we need to vote?
We're going to vote later.
Okay.
Stay right on the side over there. Yep.
Raise your right hand. I just repeat after me. I do solemnly swear.
I do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States.
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
And the Constitution of the State of New York.
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
And I will faithfully discharge the duties
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the office of police chief
of the office of police chief
according to my best ability.
according to my best ability.
Okay? Put the badge on. All right, now you can clap. Commissioner, should you be in the shot? Get this out of here. Carla, Carla. Come on. Thank you. Come on. Let's go. Come on. Okay. I'm going to get one of the officers here with the chief and Commissioner only. Okay? Excellent.
Don't be shy.
Are you guys coming out? Hey, Murta. Murta. Are you guys coming out?
Jason, check with that out. Come on. Good. All right, just hold on a second. Hey, legislators, you guys want a picture with the new chief? Couple more pictures, couple more pictures. One more picture. So everybody with the chief and commissioner. Thank you, guys. Commissioner, one
Just sort of take it over and have it not work properly. It's all problem. I created, what, about 3,000 documents? Yep. Very nice.
Chief, look forward to working with you.
To the podium, please. So I just want to read this letter. I got a letter of commendation for Detective Sergeant Jason Murtaugh of the Town of Fishkill Police Department. Detective Sergeant Jason Murtaugh, the Town of Fishkill would like to express its sincere gratitude to you for accepting and fulfilling the duties of officer in charge in the Town of Fishkill Police Department while search for the new police chief was ongoing. You did an outstanding job, and you're a credit not only to the Town of Fishkill Police Department, but over the overall law enforcement community as well. So I just want to say thank you for your hard work last couple of months, and I know it was difficult, and you got it done, and you got us to this point, and we thank you very much.
Here, here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right, now we can start the meeting. All right. The first up is a resolution confirming the property maintenance violation on Route 52. Well, just hang out for a second. When we get to resolutions, you're going to be able to speak. Are we okay with moving on that?
Yeah.
Next up is discussion of resolution to propose local law to amend Chapter 29 of the Town Code. Mr. Gabby, can you give us an update on that real quick?
Well, what we're doing is including a provision that when there is no chief and an officer in charge is appointed, the town board will make a determination as to whether to appoint the supervisor or the officer in charge as the person to undertake disciplinary proceedings. Right now, there is no provision for someone to undertake disciplinary proceedings when there is no chief, and you can run into situations where there's issues as far as seniority in regard to disciplinary proceedings, and what this amendment does is allow the town board to address that situation if it should arise in the future.
So I would just like to change it to where it's not the supervisor, it's a determination of the town board to appoint someone.
That's what it says now.
That's what it says now?
Yes.
Okay.
That's what I read, yeah.
That's what, okay, so basically, if you're watching the town code, which is our local law, it says only the chief of police can interview and investigate police officers. But who investigates the chief if there's no chief, or if there's something going on with the chief? We can't do anything. So this will give us a provision to allow us to appoint an officer in charge to conduct such things, and/or someone appointed by the town board to do it. Is that correct?
Well, yes, I think it says the supervisor. I don't know that we
I thought I
changed it.
changed that.
I'll have to take a quick look at it.
I think it says supervisor.
Just a second.
Yeah, it's legislative intent 29-4, subsection C. In the event that the position of chief of police is vacant, the town board shall designate either the officer in charge of the town of Fishkill Police Department or the town supervisor to review, examine, or investigate complaints.
So let's change supervisor or somebody appointed, someone appointed by the town board. Can we do that?
You can, but you have to renotice the public hearing.
So let's keep it as it is, because you got to bring results to the town board, whatever you come up with, you know,
So
so.
you okay with that?
Yeah.
All right, we'll leave it as is then. So when is, we didn't have the public hearing on this yet, right?
You did.
We did.
If we were going to
You
change
have
it,
the
we'd have to have
resolution-
another public.
You have the
Okay, that's what you
resolution
said?
to adopting it on the agenda tonight.
Okay, good. Next up is,
Just to have something,
what's that?
packet page 6, under subject, town code, the word chapter is spelled incorrectly. Just
Okay, that's a scrivener's error.
chapter.
It
That
can-
doesn't affect the law, right?
No,
It's just
no,
our packet.
the spelling
yeah,
can
it's
be
just our packet.
corrected without the necessity for a further public hearing.
Okay.
Okay. Next up is discussion to adopt the 2025 current and adjusted base proportions. That's basically like the equalization rate between the commercial and residential. It's a routine, we do it every year, right?
Yes, you get it from Real Property Tax Services up in Albany, and you're really pretty much compelled to adopt it.
Okay, next up is discussion to set the special district benefit unit rolls. That's usually water and sewer, lighting, et cetera. What date did we pick? What date is in here? To have the public hearing for that.
November 5th.
November 5th, okay. Everybody okay with that?
Sure.
Yeah.
Next up is discussion of resolution setting the performance security for Century Aggregate Site Development. We don't have an amount on there, right? We're gonna fix.
No, we do have an amount.
We
on
do
it.
What
have
is
an
the
amount.
amount?
Yeah, there's an amount.
Yes, it was set by your J and M and J
MJ.
$208,575.
Engineering, and we're
Okay.
we're adopting that.
I'm good with that amount. You guys okay with that amount?
That's what they recommend.
What the engineer recommends is always acceptable to me.
Well, we could lower it or raise it if we wanted to.
No,
So
that's
just wanna
fine.
check. All right, we're good with that. Next up, a discussion of resolution to set the tentative 2026 town board meeting schedule. The town clerk, Rebecca Tompkins, has been working on this. Everybody okay with that?
Yes.
Again, with the discussion of the 2026 holiday schedule, the town clerk was also working on that. You guys are okay with that?
Good.
Next up, discussion of resolution to declare highway equipment as surplus. Everybody okay with that?
Good.
Yeah.
Next up is discussion to hire 2025, 2026 rec staff. Everybody okay with that?
Good.
Yep.
Yeah.
Next up is discussion of resolution to issue for proposal two cooling towers. So we have these, the police station and the town hall have these cooling towers that cool the buildings, and they're past their life expectancy and they're rusting and everything, and the initial cost was about $650,000. Working with the highway superintendent, Carmine Estevan, and the buildings and ground director, Brandon Knapp, we've got that down to about $400,000. You guys okay with putting that out for RFP?
And that's for both of them?
Two of them, yes. We're going to buy, yeah, yes.
It's been kicked down the road for so much, I think it's critical. We're getting there.
And it's in the 5-year.
Yeah, it's in the capital plan.
Yeah, I plan on getting this thing knocked out by one doing this year, and I think one next year. So we'll be done with that. And then we're talking like, I don't even know what infrastructure stuff we really have. Carpeting, painting, everything's getting done, guys and gals. It's pretty good. Next up, a discussion resolution terminating officer in charge and status of Detective Sergeant Murtaugh back to Detective Sergeant. That's routine. Discussion of resolution hire Christopher Stratton as chief. That's routine. So we have a resolution. I'm just going to jump over to the resolution real quick, not the consent, because we got the people here from Route 82 and 52 regarding the maintenance violation. And this is your opportunity to speak to the town if you want to speak about that before we move on it.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Nicholas Ward Willis with Keenan Bean for the property owner, and have been on this project both before the planning board. So I appreciate the diligence in which your office and the town board has been pursuing this matter. My client is here tonight, Tony Vaccaro from Goldsmith Investment Group, and they are the current property owner, have been the property owner for now about 4 months, since June when they acquired the property. At that time, this board asked that they take certain action, and they've done each of the actions the board has taken. You asked that the property taxes be paid, they were brought current. You asked that the property be fenced off, it was fenced off. You asked that the landscaping being taken care of, it was done. You asked for information about the property, the deed, we provided that. We were asked to update the escrow, we've done that, and we've worked with the planning board, and we've worked with the town attorney on the bond. So we've done everything that is being asked of us, and we appreciate your diligence, because we previously said if there are any other issues, contact us. And then when you did, and we learned of that was concerned about construction debris that remained that was set off from the road and it wasn't involved with the landscaping, my client immediately acted on that, and they've had 4 dumpsters up there today. He's reached out and spoke with your building inspector, wants to make arrangements to walk the property to make sure that it is in the condition in which you want it. So our client has taken every effort to work with this board and the town to respond to your concerns. So I know there's a resolution before you tonight. I'm asking that you not take action on that resolution for a couple of reasons. Procedurally, there was supposed to be a hearing that had been continued to be adjourned. It wasn't renoticed today to be a hearing. Also, you don't have a report from the building inspector to reflect the current conditions. Additionally, the slab on the building is part of the approved site plan. I mention these because the current property owner has certain rights in that, and they've taken steps and have worked with the town in good faith. We want to continue to work with the town. I don't think acting on that resolution is the best step for us moving forward. I think we can continue to work with the town. We've demonstrated in good faith. You've expressed a concern, we've responded. We've tried to establish the line of communication. We've now spoken with the building inspector. So I understand it's a concern for the town, the condition of that property. It has been for a number of years. Tony is new to this, and in the past 4 months, you've asked, they've delivered. So I think taking this action, I understand why you wish to do it. I would think if you reflect back, it's not appropriate at this time. It's not justified. I don't want to argue the law, the procedure. I think I can make the record that you don't have the authority to take that action tonight, but I'm actually to appeal to you that why are you taking that action? We've done what you've asked to be done. The property is better today than it was last month, 3 months ago, 4 months ago. And I think that's what you're trying to do here. You're trying to make sure that properties are maintained, and that has occurred. So why take this next step, especially when I don't think lawfully you have that ability based upon the record before you. So I would ask that you, if you have questions, speak. Mr. Tony will speak with you, meet with you, answer your questions. And I would ask that we've respected your request. I would like to think you would, in turn, recognize we've been doing the right thing.
Mr. Gabb, he mentions the public hearing. Can you elaborate on that?
Well, what we've been doing up till now is adjourning, the board opened a public hearing in regard to the property maintenance violations. And it's been adjourned continuously, month after month. And this evening, the board had it on under discussion, but you didn't open the public hearing. Now, the meeting isn't over. You're free to open the public hearing right now if you have a mind to.
Thank you for
and
reminding me
close
of
it.
that.
But I think probably, well, let me ask a question. Has the trash been removed from the property? Has the debris been cleaned up?
Well, Mr. Gavin, I don't want to go there. An RFP, if we decide to vote on that tonight, what is the time periods, the earliest and the latest we can do one?
Well, there is no particular legal time frame for an RFP.
What is it usually?
It's usually a month.
30 days? So if we decided 60 days, we could do that?
Sure.
Okay.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Now, you all, and I know we have someone in the audience that wants to speak about this, that drives by it every day, but did you say your client cleaned up debris today?
Correct. We were
Okay, stop right there. Is it because this was on the agenda?
No.
I'm not trying to pick a bone. We have residents that are tired of it. It's been going on for a long time. I appreciate that you're giving good counsel here with your client, but it just seems to me it's been going on so long and continues. So you say, every time that this is on the agenda, you guys come and we make remarks and then you go take care of it. I mean, have we, because of having you come here, push you, or are you really taking the initiative? And what would you consider the next step so we finally see something beautiful there?
Yeah.
I mean, how long is this going to go on, sir? I'm just asking on behalf of the people we represent, and you can appreciate that.
Absolutely. I think it's a fair question, one that you should be asking. So we're here they started the work because it was brought to their attention. They were told that the landscaping wasn't being done, the site wasn't fenced off, so they were under the impression they were doing that which was asked of them. So we took the extra step of saying, let's sit down and meet with the building inspector. So Tony today called the building inspector because we thought the site was in suitable condition. And we weren't aware that the construction debris, which is set off from the road, and the other piles were a concern. When he learned it was a concern and he spoke to the building inspector, he got a crew up there today. The building inspector commented that it was responded quickly. 4 dumpsters were removed today. So we're not reacting just because we're here. It's the timing that we weren't aware of it. Can we do better? Sure. That's why we previously said to the supervisor and his board, contact Tony. We gave his number. We could be more diligent in following up and say, hey, we've done what we think to do. Is there anything else that needs to be done? So we've now reached out to the building inspector. We're asking for an inspection so we can make sure we've done that.
I have more questions, but I know John does.
Just a comment. I think I would like to get a copy of some type of report from Joel, from the building inspector's office, to find out, if he believes that this property is back in good standing or not, before we started.
Listen, I'm looking to move on it today. I'm going to make a motion.
I have a couple of questions for you, but before I do, I'd like to ask the attorney. Issuing a notice of violation for the property doesn't immediately trigger any consequences for the property owner if the board, in consultation with the building inspector, determines that the conditions of those violations have been remedied before an RFP is issued or anything ends up being billed to the property owner. Is that correct?
That is correct.
So the board would be in a position where we could vote on this tonight and issue the violation, but we would not be...
The violation's already been issued.
I'm sorry, we would be able to, confirming the violation this evening. Thank you for the correction on the language. We could vote to confirm the violation this evening, but that doesn't bind the board to any further action, nor does it assign any particular punitive action or consequence on the property owner.
Well, it doesn't bind the board to any further action in regard to consequences for the property owner. Once the board finds that a violation has existed, the property owner is liable for the expenses the board has incurred in taking the process through to finding the violation. So any legal fees or notice fees or anything like that, they would be responsible for. They aren't responsible for that until you actually confirm the violation.
Okay. Do such fees exist at this time?
Well, yeah.
From your services to?
Yeah, I don't know if, I assume that a notice was published for in the paper for the public hearing, so.
Yeah, everything was all done.
Yeah.
God, that was a long time ago.
Yeah, it was, but still, there would have been some expense.
So, do you mind if I ask?
No, go ahead. I do have something for the attorney, but I can
I have
can
something
wait
as well.
So what?
Go ahead.
What's the plan and what's the timeline here? And I know Louise wants to say something, but what's the plan and what's the timeline?
Well, are we opening the meeting to public comment?
We can open the
Right
public
now-
hearing
Right,
later.
so
but-
Louise can come up at that time.
Guys, right now, we're about privilege of the floor for agenda items. That's where we're on.
Okay.
So
Okay.
we're speaking about an agenda item.
Okay.
Okay. So what is the plan, what's the timeline? I mean,
If you can come to the microphone. And just say your name.
Tony Vaccaro from Goldsmith Investment. If we get a permit, I have a buyer for the property already that we're negotiating. If that doesn't happen, I will personally build the development myself, and this is no problem for me to handle.
is that something you want to accomplish this year, first quarter next year, or as far as the sale and or start development? You know?
I'm ready to sign a contract once you guys get me shovel ready. And I've already negotiated terms.
So what's preventing you from being shovel ready? I'm sorry.
So we don't have the site plan signed by the planning board chair.
Oh.
So we need to get the bonds in place. We have provided that. There's been some back and forth, and Mr. Gava has given us some additional language, which we've provided to him today, and we're now waiting for that. If that is approved, then the planning board chair will sign the site plan. There's nothing else that needs to be done, and then they'd be in a position to have that site plan filed, and then they'd be able to apply for building permits. What he's also indicated is that with any prospective purchaser, they want to know that the site plan has been signed and approved.
Okay. Well, sir, frankly, this is my issue with the situation, and I recognize, with all respect to the owner, that the condition of the property that existed before you acquired the property earlier this year is not your doing. So I don't think anyone in this room or in the town holds you personally responsible for things which happened at that property years before you became the property owner. But with all due respect to you, sir, it seems like every time that we have a public hearing or you appear before us, you have always been in contact with our town attorney that same day. It seems to be conveniently timed in a way where the town board would be prevented in good faith from moving forward when we have dealt in good faith because of something that has arrived at the very last minute. Now, I understand that work was performed on the site today. I haven't seen it because I haven't driven past the site today. It doesn't fall on my route to or from work. I would have loved to see photographs of the property after the work was performed. I would have liked the notion, as you, sir, said at the podium a few moments ago, things were brought to your attention, and so you responded to that. And certainly, I think everyone here appreciates that when an issue is brought to a property owner or a developer, that the issue is handled. But I would define interacting in good faith as proactively seeking out information as to what issues exist and remedying them well in advance of events like this. Because now we're in a situation where there is a resolution before us which we are prepared to vote on. And once again, you are asking us to forestall this. And were it not for the 4 or 5 or 6 meetings that you've already been to previously asking for this same extension, usually until the next meeting, let's just take care of it at the next meeting. Well, sure, that isn't an indefinite timeline, but it also isn't constrained, because it seems like with every passing meeting and every passing month, the residents of the town of Fishkill still have to look at an eyesore, which, while you did not create the eyesore, you are now responsible for it. So if work has been done today, I'm very glad to hear it. And if the town board votes to confirm this notice of violation this evening, and the work has been completed and the building inspector is satisfied, I would be perfectly content to entertain a resolution to waive any fees that would be levied upon you, but that would be a discussion the board would have to have. I'd be happy to have the conversation.
Can I just bring one thing up?
But I don't see how we can avoid voting on this. It needs to be voted on now.
Can I just bring one thing up? I was originally the lender on this property, and I had no interest in taking it over. I now am responsible for the property. I was told to clean up the vegetation on it. I had a crew here the same day. Cleaned it all up. I was then told that there was old debris from vegetation, get it off the property. I sent my crew back here, we took care of it. I never had any indication about removing the construction debris. To boot, I also said, if anybody needs anything done, I could have people here the next day, a full crew as I did today.
Right, and we appreciate that.
No,
But your attorney mentioned earlier that you've now made arrangements to have a site walk with the building inspector, which I think is fantastic. And my question to you would be, why wasn't that done 5 months ago?
So if people of Fishkill were complaining about that, why wasn't I called as I requested? I should have been called and said, listen, Tony, I even said, even if we're not required to do it, but you want it done, I'll take care of it. And I kind of take it personally about what happened here, because I was on top of this. I didn't do the work. I don't do any work, of course.
No, I
but
understand.
I was on top of this. Okay? And I'm taking it a little personal because I was really on top of this because I wanted to get this signed off so I'm shovel ready to sell this thing. And there's a strong possibility now, if this doesn't close on time, that I'm going to have to build this out, and this isn't what I do. If this was a residential development, I'm all over it.
I understand. I understand.
Again, if somebody wants to take my number here and they want something done, whatever it is, even just to make the little person in town happy, I could take care of it the next day. I can have a 10-man crew here in 24 hours, as I did today.
I'm not challenging.
I'm not
that.
asking you to challenge. I'm
again,
just saying, if I give you my number and I said, if you have a problem, call me, and I'm expecting a call and I get no call, and I was supposed to be down in Florida. Now I'm going to Florida tomorrow morning. I was supposed to be in a golf tournament.
Well, I'm sure that's a regrettable
Well,
situation.
I mean, if you're a golfer.
But
all right.
So what, you said you have language suggestions and with planning or whatever, and you submitted that. I mean, is there a timeline for this final approval? I mean, do we understand how?
I don't see anything. I think I'll double the RFP for 60 days and see if there's movement on the site. And if there is, we'll bring it back before town board, because we can say no to RFP after, right?
You certainly can.
So,
But before you adopt
I want the mechanism in place.
Before you adopt resolution tonight, you need to close the hearing.
Yes.
Yeah, we're not
Have it
at
on
the point where we're
agenda?
actually entertaining the resolution yet. This is still privilege of the floor.
Okay, but
So we
once
would-
this is over, if you
Can
intend
Louise
on going
Daniele
forward.
talk? She's,
If I can privilege of the floor,
Well,
she's
yeah,
entitled to speak.
applicants.
Yes, once the.
If I can just conclude my comments. So, two other points. If the goal is to see this property maintained and developed, having an RFP out there may have a chilling effect on what you want to accomplish. From any prospective purchaser, seeing that the foundation would be removed once you adopt that resolution. Legally, given some of the comments tonight, I don't know how you can vote on this resolution when you don't know the condition of the property. Your obligation is to confirm the violation. You've not been out there, I've heard those admissions. You don't have an updated report from the building inspector, so you don't have the authority, in my opinion, to make that tonight. And if you adopt this resolution, it's taking us on a path that I don't think either of us want to go on or is beneficial. I'm suggesting that if you can take a moment and step back for a moment, we can establish a good dialogue. We've done what we've asked you've asked us to do. Can we be more proactive? Sure. If there are concerns from the residents, we want to hear that, and they can also contact Tony. We're trying to do the right thing here, and I think you want to say, accept yes as an answer, rather than what you've had previously in terms of your concerns. So we're trying to address those. We've given you plans. We've established it in good faith. So I would ask that legally, I don't think you have the basis to vote tonight. And in terms of trying to work together on this process, I think it's best that you defer this action, even if it's until your next meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else would like to speak about an agenda item?
Is this the public hearing that I can speak about?
No, we'll be opening that
Would you like to speak
later.
at the public hearing?
Publicly speak about it.
Okay.
On record.
All right, anybody else want to speak about anything regarding the town, of the agenda tonight? Okay, that's closed. So let's vote on the consent agenda first. Do I have to amend it because of this cooling tower thing, Becky?
Excuse me, sir?
The cooling tower, is that what this was? Yeah, the cooling towers?
Yeah,
That's in
has to just
consent,
be-
right?
Yes, but it's okay, we're amending it, but it can stay in consent.
In consent, okay. All right, I'll make a motion to accept the consent agenda. Can I have a second?
Second.
Consent agenda as amended?
Yes.
Consent
As
agenda
amended.
as amended. Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that's all done. All right, Mr. Gavalis, you say the words about opening up this public hearing, how we're supposed to do it
All right,
properly.
first we need a resolution to amend the agenda to move the public hearing from under discussion items to now under items, public comment on agenda items.
I'll present it as a motion. Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so now you now have as an agenda item, the public hearing, the continued public hearing on the Route 52 property maintenance violation case. You can either vote to continue the public hearing, or you could just announce that it's being continued at this time. It's up
I'll
to
make a
the-
motion to continue the public hearing. Can I have a second?
Open the continued
Open.
public hearing.
I would like to open the public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, now you entertain comments on it, and then when you're done, you'll vote to close it.
Okay, we'll take comments on the public hearing.
Let's see. I didn't get a chance to stand up before, but before, this is not the public hearing. Catherine McGann was here. She's being hired by the rec center. She stayed for an hour and 15 minutes with her parents, and she had to go home and do her homework. So she's from RCK. She's a junior, and she's very happy to be working in the after-school program. So she asked me to say that.
Welcome aboard.
Yeah. Okay. So I am Louise Danielli, legal resident of Fishkill for over 30 years. Apparently, I'm also a little person in the town, and I do take everything personal that happens in my town. It's been a while since I've come here, and I do follow along at home, but I'm here tonight because of the misinformation some keyboard cowards have written regarding matters they think they know everything about, but they don't. I'm also tired of hearing excuses regarding the remedial cleanup action for the property maintenance violation 1574, 1576, Route 52. For those of you who do not know where that is, it is at the intersection of State Route 82 and State Route 52 in our town, across from the Brinkerhoff Inn. I am very familiar with that property as I live in the area, and I have had to look at that abandoned nuisance site for years, many years. So many years that it started in the time frame when Bob Lacola was the supervisor. And I used to come and complain at meetings way back when, the way I'm right now, and nothing ever happened. The rumors of property owners a few years back from some other country or something, they may have taken money that they weren't supposed to, and then they left, and then the site was left high and dry. I can't confirm that, but I do know that the site is abandoned and it was left high and dry. That's why when I was on the board with Supervisor Albert in 2024, we created the property maintenance law to give the board more options in pursuing cleanup of abandoned sites. We also created a law for performance security for site development plans. Unfortunately, whoever did this agenda for the meeting did not attach any documentation to the agenda packet, so I had to go back and find the information for myself. But I did. Since March, they have asked for continued extensions, and courtesies have been extended to the new owner. So he said that he bought it in June, but the attorney has been here from March. So that just raises a flag and a question in my mind that I didn't know about until he said that. Mr. Ward Willis, the land use attorney, stated at the September meeting that the owner is the, quote, lender and owner of the property, an LLC out of Florida. Mr. Ward Willis also stated his client, quote, continues to maintain the property. I think Mr. Ward Willis and the taxpayers in the town probably have a different definition of what maintaining a property actually looks like. Thinking it's okay to leave piles of debris behind after you were told by the town to clean it all until an hour or so, or the day of a meeting, shows a blatant disrespect not only to the town board, who has granted many extensions, but to every single tax-paying resident. It is understandable that they granted the extensions because this property has already been approved by the planning board to build a storage facility. So if the new owner alleges that they are finally going to pay up the taxes and clean it up, you would take them at their word, starting from March until today. As Mr. Ward Willis stated at the September 17th meeting, my client will make arrangements to have the debris, which was accumulated on his site, removed. Mr. Ward Willis told us he would drive by after that meeting to see if it was, and it was not. The property owner said if it wasn't, he would take care of it this week, meaning September 17th, 2025. It was not. On my way here tonight to the meeting, I drove by, and I saw an effort was made to put the pile of rubble in the dumpster that was just put there, I believe, today, prior to the meeting. So I would still like to see the site have large arborvitae bushes planted in front of the entire length of the fence to block the unsightly concrete mess that is behind the fence. This was also previously suggested by former council member Carmine Isfan, and I agreed with him back then when we were both on the board, and I agree with him now. And I conferred with him before the meeting, and he said that he thought it would take about 40 green giant arborvitaes at maybe $300 a piece, which comes out to about $12,000, to screen the foundation until they build. I am concerned as a taxpayer that when Mr. Ward Willis at the last meeting was questioned by the supervisor, has the new person purchased the property? His response, yes, they are the owner of the property, they are the lender and the owner of the property. And the supervisor asked, they're not going to sell it. The answer from Mr. Ward Willis was, I'm not in a position to discuss in public what the intentions are. I'm their land use counsel, not their general counsel. So here we go again. If the lender owner, who is an LLC out of Florida, can't even tell us, yes, I plan on moving forward and having the storage unit built, then enough is enough. And to have to hear him say it now, before I got up, and not anywhere since March, is also really disrespectful and leads me to believe that you can't trust what's going to happen. The taxpayers will most likely have to suffer at looking at the unsightly mess in the future until someone actually decides to buy and build, not buy and leave it looking like crap until they can sell it and make a buck off of it. I speak not only for myself, but for my neighbors who live in that area who are sick and tired of having to look at it. The fenced-in concrete wasteland needs to be covered by something green. You have the tools in the local law to move forward and at least clean it up by putting something green all around the fences and any building fences until any building actually begins, and bill the owner on their next tax bill. Those bushes can be used in the future when the property is actually developed as approved by the planning board. And I believe some of the planning board members asked me to ask, why haven't you had the bond? Why didn't you get the bond? So someone in the audience asked me to ask that as well. So I'm concerned. I'm concerned that if nothing is done, and he just told us that he's going to sell it, and he has potentially somebody buying it, and they don't buy it, then he's going to cough up the money and buy it himself. How long is that going to take? So in the meantime, put up all the green arborvitaes. He can pay for them. If he gets someone to buy them, then they can pay for them when they do the taxes. But the people in this town are sick and tired of looking at it and waiting and having lawyers not be honest and developers decide to tell you and us at the last second what they're doing instead of being upfront. So I hope that you move forward and actually put up some green arborvitaes as Carmine suggested, because it should not look like the way it's looking in the future. Thank you.
Anybody else have any comments on the public hearing? Mr. O'Malley first.
Hi. I just wanted to say that whatever they say, the attorneys and the buyer, the owner, every time something was brought to their attention, they took care of it. Why did it even come to that? You purchase a piece of property in a location that it is, and you just leave it fallow. You just leave it the way it is. Why wouldn't you just maintain it on your own accord, right from the get-go, if you were planning to impress the town, the planning board, everyone, of your project? And I just don't understand that, why that comes to this every time. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. O'Malley.
I want to
let's see if any other citizen wishes to speak. All right, Councilman, you go first.
I mean, I just...
No, let the councilman go first.
I remember, and what's the gentleman's name that owns the Brinkerhoff Inn? And
Mr. Julie.
Yes. And I remember standing on his porch and looking out over to the concrete slab and all the debris there. And here he's trying to put millions of dollars into Brinkerhoff Inn. And I had a discussion with him, and I'm pretty sure I've mentioned it here, but I agree with Carmine because I've mentioned it several times about the giant bushes, I never get the name right, that would be a beautiful thing to isolate and at least give people at that historic Brinkerhoff Inn green to look at as opposed to whatever is going to eventually be there. But I think that I also asked you all at one of the board meetings to pay the back taxes, and I don't know that that was top of mind either. And I'm just at the point where it's not my fault. That's all.
John, you have any comments? Not to the resolution. You?
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly with Brian on this. When I was a kid, I hated cleaning my room, and I wouldn't do it unless my mom made me. But as soon as it was brought to my attention, I took care of it. I could grow up and still live in an HOA. I do not wait to cut the grass until I get a letter telling me to cut the grass. I cut it because it needs to get cut. Shovel the driveway when it snows because it needs to be shoveled. I think we have, not specifically applying this thought to this particular application or this particular property development situation, but on a broader level, we have lost sight of what acting in good faith means. If we think that acting in good faith is simply responding in a way to do what is minimally necessary to be legally compliant, and acting on a day of basis repeatedly demonstrates not an interest in acting in good faith, but an interest in avoiding legal consequence. I don't begrudge anyone any of those actions. I understand that property development, property management, this is fundamentally a business. I recognize that investing in property maintenance and remedial action on a property that isn't mandated is, from a bottom line standpoint, from a spreadsheet standpoint, a waste of money, a loss of capital. It is unfortunate that capitalism doesn't have a line item for conscience. But I think this board has acted in good faith. We have, as the attorney for this development pointed out on many occasions, been willing to extend and continue this hearing to offer the property owner and the planning board as much time as possible to conclude the application process, get a final approval, and move forward. But at the end of the day, this board doesn't answer to the property developer or their attorney or to the planning board. We answer to the residents of the town of Fishkill, and they've had enough. And we've got an obligation to take action tonight as far as I'm concerned.
I'd to say one more thing, too.
Talk to the mic, Jackie.
Yeah, if you had to take away 4 dumpsters worth of garbage and there's still more there, you don't have any eyes, right? You are not looking at this property like the rest of our town is. I think what we're all saying is that we've taken a real hard look at this, and we've given you many opportunities, and the time has come for us now to take action. That's all I have to say.
So, Mr. Supervisor, on the hearing, I would ask that my prior comments at the public comment period be incorporated as though they were stated during the hearing. Is that agreeable?
I'll stipulate to that.
Sure.
Me too.
Thank you. So I'll be brief then with my other comments. With respect to trust, the taxes, council member, were paid. They were asked to be paid, they have been paid, and they are current.
I know, I had to say that at a board meeting. I had to, and that's another thing also. I'm sorry, I don't want to get combative, but it's like, if you buy the property, maybe that's I don't do property purchases and things like that like he does, okay? But I think a remedial question is, are the taxes current? And here at this board, we found out in advance they were not, and I had to tell you, pay the taxes. Like, okay, we'll take care of that. It's just I'm sorry, it's just a series of things. I'm sorry.
Right. So what I would say...
It's not a question of good faith, it's a question of minimal compliance.
Right. Well, so what I would say is that you are placing upon this property owner the actions of many years. You're looking at that over an extended period of time rather than what has occurred since they've owned it since June. And to assume that something gets done on day one and there's not a process to that is incorrect. So
I don't
you've
understand how you can purchase a property and not know that there are unpaid taxes on it. I would have assumed
Because,
legally
sir-
that would have been part of the purchase process.
Right.
Let the
So-
attorney speak, and let's close this and move on it.
As was explained, it wasn't a purchase, it was through the lender then taking title to the property. So there wasn't a purchase involved in that. With respect to the maintenance of a property, it has continued to be maintained. There's not been concerns with the landscaping. Those were the issues that were brought forth, and those were addressed. The property owner currently has been responding to those issues. The difficulty for this board is to act on a resolution tonight. There's been comments by the board and the public that don't allow you to act. The law says the town board should thereafter consider such report and by resolution determine if in the town board's opinion the report substantiates that the building or premises are existing in violation of this chapter. You don't have that information in front of you. You have no testimony from the building inspector. You have no current report. You have no information before you. And you've admitted that the conditions have changed. You've heard testimony tonight that those conditions have changed. And
Nobody has been, I haven't been to the site today. Have you been to the site today?
No.
Jackie,
And
you've been
the
to
most
site
recent
today?
report from the building
John?
inspector would indicate that the property is still in violation. If your objection is that we haven't received an updated report from the building inspector that would have established what you are claiming, then your objection is with the building inspector, not the town board.
No, it is with the town board, sir, because the law requires that it be existing, and you've each admitted now that you haven't been to the site and you're not familiar with its conditions.
That's enough, Greg. Let's-
So if I'll conclude my comments, Mr. Supervisor, I appreciate that. So the law requires that you be aware of these conditions. There's nothing in the record before you that supports that. And I'm asking that you not take action on this tonight because it will only lead to a path that is not going to be fulfilling towards having the conditions you complain of rectified. So I appreciate your time. I do not think there's any basis to vote on this tonight, and thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Gaba, what?
No, wait, anybody else want to speak before we close the public hearing? Okay. Mr. Malvarosa, you want to say something?
It's just one question. It's actually to the owner, so I'll address it to the board, but it's to the owner. I believe he just said he was renting it before.
I got no idea.
No, I did not say renting.
Not you, sir, the owner. Did you say that you were a rental before? So you
Lender,
just-
I think he said lender.
Lender.
He was the bank.
Ah, thank you for that correction.
Welcome.
So you were the bank, and then you bought the property.
No, took the property back.
Oh, you acquired the property. I got it now. Yeah, so you were the lender, you acquired it, and again, I'm just saying, like, the disclosure was not there. So how are we supposed to know that anything is going to get done when the attorney wouldn't answer that question? I believe the owner, not the person who's acquired the property has been here numerous times, and he wouldn't get up and be honest with the board either. So as much as we can sit here and listen to the threats of his attorney, you have to do the right thing because you were voting for the people to do the right thing, and I'm sure you will. Thanks.
Mr. Malvarosa?
Bob Barbarossa, town of Fishkill resident for 36 years. And yes, that property has been a blight. And to me, it's just simple facts like that. If you are going to take something, if somebody took that, I could see that that's all it was going to take is about 4 or 5 dumpsters and a crew of, like you said, maybe 10 guys or something, go there and really clean the property. I don't think, the slab is a problem in the fact that if it's cleaned up and everything else, and probably putting up the bushes or the everybody's up there would be a good will gesture until you decide what you're going to do. But honestly, I actually thought they were going to clean it up a lot better than they did when they went there. Like there was still pallets and stuff around. So it was kind of like they took weed whackers and went around and cleaned up and everything else, but it wasn't really cleaned to understanding that people have had to look at that for so long that they felt like, here we go, this is another half-hearted thing. So that's why probably you're getting,
Excuse me. Let me ask you a question. Have you been by the site today?
today I didn't go by.
All right, I was told to clean it up, all the vegetation. Nobody ever told me about they wanted the construction debris. If they tell me they want something, I'll take care. And I understand what everybody here is talking about. And if I lived in Fishkill, I wouldn't be happy seeing that type. I realize I'm only in this 3-4 months.
Thank you.
If you want, if somebody here, if everybody here is this concerned, why doesn't somebody volunteer and work with me to get it 100%, not 100%, but get it satisfactory?
I'd like to make a motion to close the public hearing. Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous? Okay. We did the consent. Now we're at the resolution confirming the property maintenance violation.
Just to be clear, Becky, we did vote on the consent
Did we
agenda.
vote on the consent?
Yes, we voted on the amended consent
and then
agenda.
Yes, now that you mentioned it, okay,
Yeah,
just
we
want to make sure that we're not overlooking that.
No, we sure did.
So what I'm going to do is extend this RFP from 30 to 60 days.
There's no date set in the resolution.
No, there's not.
There's not?
No.
So I can set it?
You can set it at 90 or 120 or 30 or whatever it is.
When do I have to set it before we vote on it?
No.
I can
It's
set it
the
later.
resolution just says you're going to put one out.
So it's open-ended.
Okay. All right, good. I like that. All right. Resolution confirming property maintenance violation and authorizing remedial action at 1574-1576 Route 52, ID number 9872. Whereas the town board of the town of Fishkill received a report from the town building inspector that a violation of the town code, chapter 113, property maintenance exists at the real property located at 1574-1576 Route 52. And whereas the town board commenced administrative property maintenance violation proceedings on the town code, chapter 113, regarding to the real property located at 1574-1576 Route 52, Fishkill, New York, as per the building inspector's memorandum, and whereas the town building inspector duly served a notice of violation in order to remedy upon the owner of the said property, setting a date for the opportunity to be heard of said violations before the town board on March 5th, 2025. And whereas the town board afforded the property owner of said opportunity to be heard at the town board's meeting of March 5th, 2025, and whereas the property owner has not taken any action to cure the outstanding violations and has not satisfied the town board that it will do so within a reasonable time, therefore be resolved as follows, that the town board hereby finds the property owner has failed to refuse to comply with the order of remedy, and that the town will take action to remedy said violation pursuant to Town Code 113-8, and that the town board has authorized the town supervisor and town building inspector to prepare and publish a notice for public bids for remediating the property violation, and 3, that the bids submitted on such notice shall be publicly opened and read aloud on a specific date thereafter presented to the town board at a town board meeting with a recommendation for action upon the bid submitted, and that all the expenses incurred at the town in connection with the noticing and awards of bidding and remedying of the property maintenance violation shall be levied and collected in the same manner as provided in Article 15 of the town law for the levy and collection of a special ad valorem levy. And 5, the town assessor is hereby authorized directed to take all actions necessary for effecting the levy and collection of taxes, town's said expenses. And number 6, the town board hereby authorizes the supervisor to execute any and all documents in connection with the above. I'll present that as a motion. Can I have a second?
Second.
Discussion?
Discussion.
Councilman Foreman.
So I can honestly say that this town has been very patient with this property, regardless of who owned it or who owns it. I'm a little, I have to ask Mr. Gaba a question. If we go forward with this and we get a report from the building inspector tomorrow or Friday or Monday that all the violations have been rectified, what if we, does this go away? Do we have to have another resolution to, tell me?
Well, what should happen is that the building inspector and the supervisor report back that there's no need to go out for RFP because the violations have been remedied in the meantime. As I mentioned earlier, there's some small expense for, the amount of legal fees and publishing costs that you've incurred, which the property owner would be subject to, and they either pay those or you re-levy them. But you don't go out for RFP on work that's already been done. It would make no sense.
Right. Do we know how many violations there were?
There were 2 violations. One violation was that there was an abandoned slab on the property, which clearly is still on the property, and until there gets to be at least site plan approval, you have no reason to believe that that slab is going to be turned into a building. The other one was debris on the property. It wasn't just vegetation, it was vegetation and debris. I understand that the vegetation has been cleaned up. I haven't spoken with Joel today, but I believe that that's the case. As for the construction debris, the other garbage on the property, I do not know the status of that. I know that the property owner was taking steps to remedy it. Whether it has been remedied or not, I don't know. But if it is remedied before either the RFP gets published or the RFP gets awarded, it'll come back to this board for an award of a contract, then you wouldn't do that work. You wouldn't award the contract.
Okay, so the cleanup, I'm assuming the cleanup has been done. I guess we'll find out from Joel soon enough. How do we get around this, what'd you call it, a slab,
It's an abandoned slab right now. It's a property, a development that is not going forward. So if the property owner goes out and gets his site plan approval and represents to you that the construction is going forward, there would be absolutely no reason to go out and remove the slab. So you wouldn't put out the RFP, or if you had put it out, you wouldn't award it.
Is this resolution going to negatively affect what happens at the planning board?
No, it has nothing to do with the planning board.
Nothing to do with the planning board?
No.
Okay.
If you went to sell the property, though, and there was an outstanding resolution of the board finding that there was a property maintenance violation and that the town was thinking of going out for RFP, was authorized to go out for RFP to tear out the slab on the property, a buyer might think twice before he stepped in and said, I'll buy the land because I want to build on the slab. Now, I mean, it's up to the property owner to go and get the site plan and, moot out that point. Right. But until they do.
So are we going to hear 2 weeks from now or a month from now that, oh, well, there's still a slab on the property and we're going to go forward with an RFP? I mean, I don't think you can.
If you vote tonight, you're going forward with an RFP to have that slab removed.
And we're going forward with authorizing the RFP. We don't actually have to issue.
You're absolutely right. And
it's something in our pocket at that point that we can act on with discretion based on reports from the building inspector.
The supervisor doesn't have to get it out next week or next, but he's been authorized and directed to do so. I would expect that we'll be preparing that, and you can put a fair amount of return time before people actually submit and you open them up, like we said, 60 days or what have you. And if it situation gets remedied by the property owner in the meantime, so be it. But if it doesn't get remedied in the meantime and nothing happens, you go forward with cleaning up the property.
Has conditional site plan approval been granted on the property and they're awaiting final approval?
I think it's conditional final, isn't it?
Correct, that's final. There's one item remaining, which is the approval of bonds.
Yeah.
Is that something that requires a vote of the planning board and the town board?
No, it gets, they've got the bond amount set. It's just a matter of having me approve it and then submitting it to Debbie, and they submit it to Debbie, then I approve it, then it goes to Becky, and once it's filed,
okay.
That conditions
checked. You indicated that there was communication regarding language on that today?
Yeah, there was earlier this week, actually.
Okay.
But what's going on is that their bank wants some additional language added to the...
Yeah, we've been talking about this for like 4 or 5 months.
It's been a while, yes.
Okay.
So let me ask a question, Mr. Gallo. Hold on,
I still
Greg.
had one thing.
The planning board gave them preliminary approval that includes that slab right now?
Yeah, I think the slab predated this particular plan.
If I may, the slab was part of the site plan.
That's how long the slab's been there.
Okay.
Okay.
So if they got the performance bond, they would be in compliance regarding the slab?
Once the performance undertaking is filed, then they can have their site plan signed. And if they have their site plan signed, they have a right to build. But they still would need to come back to this board and say, not only do we have a right to build, we have an intention to build, and we're going to be moving forward, because otherwise it could just lay there for...
So we won't know they're serious until they put in the performance bond?
Well, until they get the site plan signed and filed, yes.
And it needs a performance bond to get to the signed site plan?
That's the thing that's holding it up, that's correct.
Mr. Supervisor, can I ask you a question? Would your intention after we vote on this to be to move to RFP immediately, or would there be a period for the completion of that planning board process before we issue that?
I'd like to talk to the building inspector with Mr. Ward Willis and walk the site, and we can go over what needs to be done.
Typically, Supervisor and Mr. Gabo, when we adopt resolutions, we have a final resolved paragraph which indicates when the resolution is effective. I noticed that this does not have one of those. would it be appropriate to amend the agenda to say that this resolution will be effective, say, November 5th, which is the date of our next town board meeting, subject to revocation by a resolution of the town board? In other words, we're adopting it tonight, and we're basically giving them 3 weeks to convince everyone here that we don't need to move forward with it. Would that be an appropriate thing?
If that's the board's pleasure, they could certainly do that.
Because then we're approving it, and then it becomes the onus of the property owner to satisfy the building inspector and the town board that the violation no longer exists. That would be 3 weeks from today in which to secure the performance bond, have the site plan signed, and receive a report from the building inspector that the property no longer has any violations.
We've been looking for months to get this performance.
I know. I'm saying we adopt the resolution tonight. We just postpone its effective date until the next meeting.
I'll work on that. You can make a motion and have a vote, but I'm not going to support that.
Would any other board members support an amendment just to forestall the effective date of the resolution while still adopting it this evening?
Listen, I'm caught in a bit of a quandary here.
Same.
I'd like to vote on this because, again, as I said, it's been going on forever and people have been complaining, and I hear the gentleman here say, well, if nobody buys it from him, he's just going to take it over and do it. So that negates the argument of he can't get a buyer because he's going to do it. So that's one aspect. The other aspect is we have been going on forever and ever and ever. And I understand maybe you're down to the crunch time now, but I don't know how long this has been going on with him waiting for language for the bank and this and that. And again, if this gentleman here has been he's been the bank on this project forever, I don't, there should have been some information along the line, as far as the accomplishment and everything else. I'm just saying that rhetorically. Any way of making a good guess when they could have all this in place? Is it just, we don't know when language is going to be done and adopted, and we don't know when the bond goes in place, and so it could be another 2, 3, 4 months. We don't know.
No, it won't be 4 months. They're very close. Their banks, I don't mean to throw stones, their bank's a little finicky about language and a letter of credit, more so than pretty much any other bank I've ever worked with. But they're, the changes that they propose, and I haven't looked at the addendum that they've submitted, but I spoke with their counsel earlier today, and I don't anticipate them to be significant. If I approve them, if not this week, next week, and I would hope I could do it this week, there's no reason they couldn't have the bond in place next week, or, at the very latest, the week after, if they have to run it through their banks committee, if there's any changes. So you're talking a week, maybe 2 weeks before this is filed, in my estimation.
See, I want to move on this tonight, but
There's no reason to put any, Mr. Gaba said, there's no date. It's going to be up to me and the building inspector to come up with a date. All right? So I'm going to
We
walk.
want it to be a reasonable date.
yeah.
Of course it's going to be reasonable.
All right.
I'm
wouldn't.
going to walk the site personally.
I'll walk it with you.
Thank you, Councilman. I'll walk it with John. We'll make a determination what needs to be cleaned up, what do we expect. But the key here is the slab is going to need that performance bond, because we can't do nothing about that. So we're talking two things. One thing, we can get the place cleaned up to our satisfaction. Then number two, in order for the slab to be in compliance, these other conditions have to be met. So I'd like to work on, have the RFP in my hand to use, authorize me to use it, and if these guys clean up the site and get the performance bond, I don't have to put out the RFP.
Well, we could rescind this whole thing at the next meeting.
We don't have to rescind it, I just don't have to do it.
You don't have to, but if you want to dot the i's and cross the t's, once everything's in place, it would be nice to put a capstone on it by rescinding the resolution.
That would be the nice thing to do.
Right.
So,
Which I would just like to say is essentially what the language that I was suggesting would do. It would forestall the effective date of the resolution long enough that we could essentially vote at the next meeting to nullify this. But if you're saying that language isn't necessary and we can just vote at the next meeting to rescind, if the conditions are met, then I'm satisfied.
This ain't going to be done by the next meeting. Councilwoman?
I think I've said everything. I just think we've been very patient, and like I said before, we've all, in our own ways, taken a look at this, a hard look at it, and I think we have to act at this moment.
So, Mr. Willis, you can work with me directly with the building inspector, and we can go walk to the site and see if we can avoid the RFP. But we're going to vote on it, and it's just what the board members do. And I'm going to be reasonable with you. Okay?
And
Okay, understood.
That's fair enough.
Think very hard about planting those bushes, please.
All right. I'll make a motion to adopt the resolution confirming the property maintenance violation and authorize remedial action at 1574, 1576 Route 52. Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous? Okay. Thank you, sir. Mr. Willis, you sent me an email today. I did read it. I did make sure you were at 8:30.
You did?
And send me something similar tomorrow, and I'll work with the building inspector, and those two things we'll work on. I think one, we can move on quickly. The second one, that's gonna be up to you and the planning board.
Understood.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Did we have any items for special consideration? That was just one amendment, right? Okay. New and old business. Jackie, anything?
No, nothing tonight.
Greg?
No, nothing tonight.
We're voting on the budget November 4th?
5th.
5th. Okay.
Right.
We're voting on something else on November 4th. Everyone is.
John and I had a very meaningful conversation with the comptroller on the budget, and I just have to say that at this juncture, given her reporting, I'm pretty satisfied. I love her professionalism in every regard, her ethics, her caliber of professionalism, and so I look forward to taking a look at the final product.
Yeah, I'd just like to say that the town of Fishkill had two big positions to fill this year. One was the town controller, and one was police chief, and it was truly a bipartisan effort in interviewing, recruiting, and going back and forth, and I'll commend all the board members, Jackie, Greg, John, and Brian. It was truly an amazing site that we can work together in a positive way, and I think we hit the jackpot with the controller, and I think we're on a path with the chief. We've got to get a little more time to get his feet wet and see what he's up to, but I feel comfortable about him too. And these are very important positions in the town of Fishkill. So yes, thank you for your comments. I appreciate that.
I'll chime in too.
Yeah.
So Brian and I have had a meeting with Sharon, and we've had a meeting with the new controller. And they both feel that the town is in very good fiscal shape. We are taking out a considerable amount of money out of the fund balance to help balance the budget, to avoid any significant property tax increases. But I will tell you, the money is in the fund balance, and we're trying to keep the property taxes as low as possible.
Well, I think that hotel tax is going to help out a lot with that.
Not only that.
Here's just a comment on that. Because one of the things that Maureen, the new comptroller, had mentioned, of course, is we don't know. There's a slight status quo, and that's the wrong. I'm not quoting her. This is me talking on a lot of different prices out there. Next year, there could be quite a jump in all kinds of prices, and insurance is always going to go up, et cetera, et cetera. But one of the things that I know that this property tax is going to do, if not allow us,
Hotel tax.
the hotel tax, thank you so much. It may not, as the expenses go up, we will abate that potential for increasing any property taxes. It's going to be a safety net, and I'm very glad for it.
John.
Just an update on the hotel tax. There was an article that was released, I think, yesterday, and Governor Hochul has a whole bunch of bills on her desk. Several of them are for hotel bedroom tax. One of them is the town of Fishkill. One of them is the city of Mount Vernon. I believe one of them is the town of Montgomery. And there may be a few others, but I was happy to see that was included in that article, and we are awaiting her signature.
Thank you, John.
You already spoke.
No, it's good, it's good. Yeah, regarding the town of Fishkill finances, We've been on a capital improvement tear for the last 6 years. We're down from doing major infrastructures, projects, to doing air conditioning units like we're doing today. And all of your major buildings, this building, I know I've said it before, these major, your town hall, your police station, your rec department, your highway department, your parks, all of them together have never been in this condition, and most of it's been paid for. We only got a few years left on our police department to pay that off. There's no debt here. Our debt level is probably in the 1% range of what we could borrow. We're looking for ways to save money. We built an additional building in the highway department, me and the highway superintendent, Carmine, and we got it done for around $600,000, and if we put it out to bid, it would cost well over $1 million. We've taken that into the little things now, like the cooling towers. We're going to save $200,000 here. So we're always thinking of ways to save the taxpayers money. The issue is the way things go with the tax rate. You have two things that really do your budget. Your tax levy is what you spend for the year, and then the tax rate is what your portion is to pay for the tax levy. And as the councilman said, for years, like when we stayed open during COVID, me and the town clerk and Councilman Bardini were on the board at the time, we stayed open and we raked in a lot of money. And we're able to use those resources now to buffer any concerns. Your tax rate is going to go from 1.93 to about 1.81, extremely low. Honestly, I don't like it that low, but in order to be below the cap, the state requires you to put all borrowing bonds into your equation. And in 3 years, one bond will be off. In 4 years, another bond will be off. That'll give us even more flexibility because we'll be able to save even more money and replenish all our fund balances. And they're all pretty good right now, but I'd like to see them, instead of 10%, I'd like to see them around the 15% rate. But you're looking for the next 10 years in Fishkill, we probably have about anywhere, if the economy's decent, between 200 and 400 million of assessed value coming into the town of Fishkill. Nothing major except salaries for the employees, cop cars, highway equipment. That's pretty much it. We don't need to build anything, and that's going to save us a lot of money. We're set pretty good for the next 20 years in this town. So, I couldn't have done it without Brian, John, Greg, and Jackie was my first one here. Jackie started on the board in 2017 and kind of liked my vision, and I liked her vision and getting the parks done, the roads done, and bringing everything up to par. And I know my slogan is, the developers don't run the town of Fishkill, and she was the first salvo into this. And I commend her, and I have a lot of respect for Jackie. She ran for town justice and lost by 2 votes, and she didn't give up. And when the highway superintendent got elected to highway super, there was a vacancy. She came in, and she got back on the board, and she's made a difference. And I just want to commend you before we end this meeting tonight and say thank you, Jackie.
Thank you very much.
Yes, because a lot of these things happening in the town of Fishkill today will not be for you.
We planned a lot of it. Yeah. Parks
Jackie and the
stuff.
town clerk, who kept the town open with me during those trying years. So let's give it up for Jackie Bardini and Rebecca Tompkins.
Rebecca.
All right, are we going to executive session? I forgot.
I don't think so.
What did you want to speak about? The cable stuff?
To talk about the cable franchise agreement at some point.
Let's just talk now about it.
Okay, very good. It's easy enough. In the last go-around on the cable franchise agreements, the town had obtained, they're called PEG grants, it's Public Education and Government, the PEG, from your cable providers. $65,000, I believe, from one, and $35,000 from the other. And now it's time, just to step back, what PEG grants are is money that the cable companies give you in lieu of purchasing cameras and paying for your video operator and new microphones and things along those lines. They have an obligation to make sure that you can broadcast meetings and whatever other events that you may wish to And rather than coming in and working with you to purchase particular items, saying, hey, here's some cameras, they give you money and let you do it. And the money's paid over the course of the number of years in the agreement. You had a 5-year agreement, I believe, last time with Verizon, I think it was. And it was paid, in 1/5 increments over the course of the 5 years. So now you have it's the time to renew your cable franchise agreements, and you have to decide how much money you're going to ask in PEG grants. And you can't just make up a number, you need to be able to substantiate the number that you're looking for. So it's time to start talking with your videographer and deciding what, do you want different microphones than these? Do you want better software, whatever it may be?
Is this a yearly fee that we get from or is it a flat fee for every 5 years?
Well, there's no legal requirement that it be paid one way or the other, but I can tell you that industry-wide, it's pretty much paid annually, or it's paid in pops. If you had a 10-year agreement as opposed to a 5-year agreement, you'd get most half of it up front, and then you'd get the other half 5 years down the road.
Okay.
So that's the next thing that you need to do. The other thing that you need to decide for on your cable franchise agreement is what buildings you want to have free cable service provided to. Now, you already have a list of them, and it may be all inclusive. I provided you with at least the Verizons last year, which has a list of properties in it. But if you have some others that you'd like to add to it, you'll have to, now's the time to add them as well.
So can you just give me a follow-up email, and I'll follow up with our videographer and go through the buildings and grounds and see what we have, TVs and stuff?
Sure.
So right now
I've
it's...
worked with Pete in the past, I'll team up with you on that.
All right, so you're saying it was 65 and 35 right now?
That's my recollections what the numbers were, yeah.
So if we went with a 75, 45, is that unreasonable?
If you can substantiate it, it's not unreasonable.
That's the thing, you have to...
We have to see where our needs are.
Like Debbie Colonna and Pete and other people need to say, well, this is what we need.
Yeah,
you got to put pen to paper.
You don't have to be dollar for dollar down to the penny, this is what it's going to cost us, but you have to give the cable providers some basis as to the amount of money that you're asking.
Yeah. Is it based on how much Optimum has in Fishkill versus how much FiOS has customer-wise?
Most of the agreements I've seen, they split the amount of the PEG grants evenly between the providers. For yours, for whatever reason, it looks like it was 2/3, 1/3. I don't know the reason for that.
Okay.
Maybe it has something to do with the coverage area or what have you. We'll have to hash it out when we negotiate with the two cable providers.
Okay.
But the starting point is how much can you substantiate for your PEG grants and what buildings do you want?
Is it strictly for equipment, not for salaries?
Oh, no, salaries too.
What's that?
Salaries too, any
That's
cost.
great. Oh, that's great. Okay.
All right.
So they could throw in also, and I'm wondering.
When does his contract come up?
See, you know, because
we do them every year.
he comes out on location, and I'm wondering if we get that dollar amount in there, you know. We need to do that.
We do them every year, so I don't know.
We need to do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right, so I'll have him, if he wants to.
You need to have a meeting with him.
Well, I'll send you a follow-up email, and then some of you get together and decide how you're going to come up with those figures and a list of buildings. I don't know if you need to speak with Carmine or what, but then we can move forward with it.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, anybody else before we close this out? Good
No.
meeting tonight. You guys saw Fishkill at its best.
Don't forget to vote.
Don't forget to vote. Early voting starts, I believe, on the 20th at Town Hall in the basement.
9 days.
Visit the BOE website for more information about your Election Day polling site. If you want to see a sample ballot, learn anything, what's going on, visit the BOE.
Yeah,
But you
website.
can vote at any site this
You can
year.
vote at any site, so if you don't know where you vote and you go
Doesn't
to a
matter.
polling site.
During
they have
your
to let
early
you go.
voting.
Early election only.
All right, anyway,
Motion to close.
next town board meeting, November 5th. Make a motion to adjourn. Can I have a second?
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Good night. Excellent work, guys.
All right.
Great job.
You know,